We should have just done it from there. I wasn't ready.
Everybody, it is April 17th and it is marathon morning here in Boston. How are we feeling? I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. Eliud Kipchoge running the Boston Marathon, stacked races on the women's side. It is, I mean, we're in for something really special.
Good morning.
You're awake.
We're awake. We're only half a cup of coffee in, but we'll get some more. Dana and I went for a little run this morning. Chris,
we
slept
did.
in. David probably ran triple.
I took the day off because I ran 22 miles yesterday.
He ran 105 miles week, if you haven't heard.
A very controversial 105 miles. We were told, or Max suggested 104 being more valuable,
I
but
had to do my 3-mile shakeout from the Hyperion House.
How's the weather out there, Kyle?
I think good, right? Like the wind, a little bit of a headwind. Is that fair to say?
A tiny bit, but it doesn't look like it's going to be, really picking up until much later in the morning, probably after the pros have finished. So maybe some of the second or third wave, you might feel it a little more, but I think, it's going to be conditions conducive to running fast.
Temperature 40, what's the official?
It felt
49 degrees right now.
incredible out there. I love when the Prudential Center, you can't even see the top half because it has a layer of hazy fog over the top. Like when you're running on the Charles all weekend, it's so busy. It's kind of really stressful to run out there. And then this morning, very few people. Calm before the storm.
It was kind of like a warm 49, though. Is that fair to say?
Well,
I think
it's
we were
90%
overdressed.
humidity, so I
Okay.
think that helps. I think hopefully, the rain is going to, knock on wood, hold off. But the humidity, I think a little bit will keep you from, being too cold as you're sort of standing there in the corral and warming up. And it's only going to get up to 57 today. So, that is not going to be unseasonably hot even with that high humidity.
So we posted a video of Dana and Kyle running this morning on our Instagram story, and we did get like a reply from someone who was like, "This is very similar to when Kipchoge ran in Indiana." And so I walked out of the door and I was like, "This feels like one of the Berlin marathons that he has won was like very similar weather to this, like a little overcast, a little drizzly at the very beginning. I mean, it's just really good conditions for running today."
You want the spectators to be a little cold. You don't want shirts off as you're running through BC, although they may still be. But you want a spectator to be just a little bit uncomfortable. They need a light jacket, and that's how you'll know the athletes are comfortable.
Yeah. So we did a full preview 2 days ago, and we gave our predictions at the very end. I still feel good about my predictions. I have Kipchoge for the win, Helen Obiri for the win.
People from the chat were giving me a hard time for my picks.
All right, so remind the people who your picks were.
Well, I went with the defending champ, which
Controversial.
I don't know why that would be controversial, because it's not Kipchoge. But I did kind of correct myself on the preview show that I think they're going to tie Benson Kipruto and Evans Chebet crossing the finish line holding hands together. Then I had Amani Bariso, who has the fastest personal best in the field by over 2.5 minutes. So reasonable pick. I took Alphine, the Olympic trials champion, as top American, and then Connor Mance, who has the fastest American personal best in the field. I don't know why I was getting any heat for that. It all seemed very familiar.
If anyone should get heat, it's me. Like it always should be me, the one that gets heat. I think Lona Salpeter is a wild card. I probably should have chosen Jocelyn Jepkosgei over her, but
You're going to look like a genius.
that's my
This
goal.
is what I was going to say about the Evans Chebet pick, is there's a little gamesmanship here where if you pick Kipchoge and Kipchoge wins, no one's going to be like, Kyle's a brilliant track and field analyst. But if Chebet wins, you guys are going to look real smart,
Wait, we never got David's official picks.
I tweeted them this morning for transparency's sake. So
Let's hear him.
You had
only
he had
fair.
5 different versions of the tweet, and he'll delete the 4 that
that's
don't
the
pan
strategy. No, I think Kipchoge's going to win. Jepkosgei on the women's side. I like that she got 6th last year, so she knows the course, but she's still a little, hungry.
She's not cocky about it.
Yeah, 7th last year, I think. Already, first mistake. How far are we?
We will
into
not
the-
be doing any fact checking.
Yeah.
First mistake, 1 teaspoon of the clam chowder.
No. I'm like 4 cups of coffee in at this point, so I don't need anything else. Fauble for top American and Emma Bates for top American. I guess I'm real high on Team Bossard right now, but I think they're going to do great. I think there's going to be only 2 American women in the top 10, which I feel like that might be a spicy take. Like, I think this field is stacked enough that the American women could do really well and still not place super high. And I think there's going to be 3 men in the top 10. Winning times, 2:07, 2:19.
Oh, you win times. Wow.
I didn't put to the second. I just said to the minute, but I wanted to spice things up a little bit. Again, if I'm wrong, no one will remember that. But if I'm right, I'll look like a genius.
If you're wrong, you pay for Twitter Blue.
Yeah.
And you update.
So here's how this works, I guess, for the hundreds of people who are in the chat right now and sitting on our YouTube stream is what we recommend is you pull up the race stream on ESPN, so you could get that on Watch ESPN, ESPN3, or you check your local listings. It's also on WCVB, which is the local ABC affiliate. And then the next step is keep this stream open and mute your TVs and watch along with us. We're going to be bringing you all the splits. We're going to have some jokes. We're going to have some crazy reactions to things. This is going to be a fun time. So really, this is the running nerds stream, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like it's also for the people who don't have friends.
Yeah.
Feed. You don't have anyone.
Me for the longest time.
Yeah,
We can be
I
your
had
friends.
I had no one who wanted to watch the Boston Marathon with me, so
I think you need to retell the story from your professor for the audience.
I've been very transparent with professors in the past. Let them know I'm not coming to class. The Boston Marathon is on, and they don't appreciate that. That's not a good enough excuse.
Or even better, if you got to work today, pour one out. I can't believe you had to go into the office. Whether you got friends or not, you got coworkers.
When
today
did you
with
realize that this is not a universal holiday growing up?
I didn't probably college, because I did not realize that Patriots Day isn't my dad grew up in Concord, my grandmother still lives there, so even aside from the marathon, I've gone to the reenactments of the Battle of Lexington and Concord, the parade with the Minutemen dressed up. It's a real holiday.
Did you ever dress up and participate?
Yeah.
I did not. No, I was always a spectator.
boo.
What team would you want to be on?
Oh, Team America, for sure. Well, and most importantly, Team Concord. Everyone knows, like, the Concord Minutemen were so much, more competent and well prepared than the Lexington Minutemen. So.
I used to work for a non-Brooks running company, and we in Boston, and we did not get Patriots Day off, and I felt like that was wrong. Yeah. Wrong. You had to take it off on your own. Like, we're gonna work on running. Everyone has to get this day off.
I've had that thought hanging out every time we do any sort of thing. Like, everyone from Brooks here is working on Saturday, Sunday, and a holiday. Like, I hope
This is their Super Bowl.
I hope they get Tuesday, Wednesday off.
No, they're just gonna be so
They're
hyped.
shaking their heads. They're not.
They gotta pack this thing all out.
How big of a deal is the Boston Marathon? It bumped Get Up from ESPN 1 main channel to ESPN 2. So they're running the Boston Marathon on ESPN, which is actually really cool to see. Like, you sometimes, like, the running stuff gets pushed to ESPNU, and so
But what's the competition on a Monday morning at 9 a.m.?
Get Up, which does bring in a lot of viewers every morning, but now it's this. So right now, currently underway, we've got both the elite men's and women's wheelchair races underway. Now, those are pretty cool to watch because this is a pretty unforgiving course for people in those wheelchair races, just having to deal with the uphills and braking on the downhills. Like, so
Fans are out early already.
Yeah.
On the walkover.
Can I make one note?
Yeah.
We've already seen split screen.
Yeah.
Really?
Split screen,
Men's,
split
women's
screen.
wheelchair split screen. So that's one more than the trials had in 2020.
That's the barometer.
Yeah.
Once again.
Also,
David, look, on the TV right now, they're talking about the infamous Battle of Lexington and Concord. And the start formerly in Ashland.
Which anyone who showed up to Hyperion House trivia on Saturday knows the answer to now.
Well, for the people watching, David put on a trivia at the Brooks Hyperion House on Saturday, and it was some of the hardest questions.
I want to know what the questions that didn't make the cut were.
I thought they were pretty fair.
No, I thought they were good.
They were fair.
You know, you couldn't. Some of them were not too easy. Some of them, I like to think that you could, you know, use a little logic and
reasoning.
strategy. Because I think the problem you run into sometimes, if it's just like, you know, elite runner trivia, like someone's gonna know all of that. You know, I've posted a trivia that John Galt shows up to before, and you're like, well, this is a ringer right here. But then some of the more like cultural stuff, like you might be the biggest running nerd in the world, but you're not a Boston local. So there was a little something for everyone.
So also real quick for the people in the YouTube chat, I'm like loving seeing the people interacting here. I want to hear where people are tuning in from, and like, you know, I saw a message here that someone's watching with their kids at home, and so like the kids don't understand what's going on, but we do, and so like you know, you have some company at home. We've got someone from Perth, Australia, in the chat, so let us know where you guys are tuning in from. That's always really cool to see, just the reach we've got. And ask us anything really. Like we shared our picks. We want to hear your guys' pick. Drop them in the YouTube chat. We want to make this as interactive as possible, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for sure.
So we were doing this the other day for the preview show, but breaking down the big themes.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're in charge of promoting the Boston Marathon, you're the Vince McMahon of the BAA. What are the storylines that are selling newspapers?
Yeah. So one, it's Kipchoge and how he fares against the course, but then we've also added in the two training partners, Amos Kipruto and Evans Chibet. Is that Benson Kipruto? Yeah.
Let's go to London.
Yep, who they split half of the marathon majors between the two of them last year, and versus the rest of the field. So that's the main storyline on the men's side. You've got a sub-storyline among the Americans where it's sort of Scott Fauble versus Connor Mance versus Ben True, and that's intriguing because that's expected to be very close. One thing that we didn't touch on a couple days ago that I'm very intrigued by is the marathon debut of Zuhair Talbi from Morocco.
Yeah.
He's an NAIA legend, and he's been running super well on the track, but I was very impressed by him at the NYC half when he was going with Joshua Cheptegei and Jacob
Finished
Kablima.
third?
He was third.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was only 2 years ago he was at
I was going to say, Trials of Miles legend.
Yeah.
he was in the 10K
We
in
knew
Austin.
nothing about him. We were scrambling to do research in the middle of that broadcast.
Yeah, he ran away with it, and now looking back, you know, we have a lot more to say about him. He actually spends a lot of time in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Because his agent is in town over, so he'll come over and run Rockefeller State Park, and we've discussed whether or not I should join him for a workout.
Oh, nice.
And I've consistently, it's like, see what he did last week. It's like I cannot help at any point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Then we've got the women's side, no clear favorite, I would say. You've got a slew of women who have run under 220, a slew of women who have run under 218, including Amane Bariso of Ethiopia, who has run 214. She's very clearly head and shoulders above everyone on paper, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a favorite coming into Boston where, again, the course is unforgiving.
The course record for women was set in 2014, 2:19:59 by Bunesh Deba from Ethiopia. Do we think that's going down today?
It's hard. But, well, it's also Rita Jetu actually won that year before getting stripped of her title for EPO.
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
I hate that happens. That's why sometimes
forget.
it's too good to be true. Sometimes
She
it
was
is.
outrunning the T. I remember that year, and it was like that was a.
That's not that
commentary.
hard to do.
Having taken the T downtown this morning, I
it's
could
the
say
green
I
line.
might have been able to walk faster.
So I think if we're going headline storylines,
Well, so the course record, really quick, Dana. Do we think it goes down on the?
what was the
Two-
exact?
2:19:59.
Say no.
It's going down.
I said it's going
It's going
down.
down.
I think Obiri likes to push from the start. There are so many, to borrow our phrase, heavy hitters.
There are
in the
9
race
sub
on the women's
220
side.
girls in
Yeah, I think
ladies.
there's
And we have a
enough people-
2:14 woman from the front.
So then that's my headline is Valencia a real place? Like that's the question.
Is it a real location?
Because yeah.
It's a state of mind.
Has anyone
Wait.
ever been to Valencia here?
Who's been there?
If anyone wants to pay for us to go to Valencia, I'll go
So
just to check. And,
We
and-
need
and
to
put
know
Kyle's
if it's
theory
real.
together.
Of course. No, it's just a real course that was designed to be
In
as
the
fast
chat,
as
is
possible.
Valencia real?
But Berizzo having run 2:14 there, and then Chip Karui ran 2:17 there. And what is that worth? What are we gonna? Is that a 4-minute conversion? Is that fair?
Then the subplot among the Americans, it's Alfine Tuliamuk and Emma Bates are very confident coming into this one, both saying they're in sort of like 218, 219 shape, thinking about contending for the win. And, we love to see sort of that confidence and not just settling for, hey, I'm going to finish top 10, top 5. They can see themselves winning. But then, someone mentioned here in the YouTube chat, it feels like someone like Nel Rojas is being slept on a little bit.
It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful on behalf of all of us that top American the last 2 times isn't getting more attention. Look, Nell's very good at this type of hilly course. I feel like Nell does exceptionally well in tough conditions as well. So if it starts to rain, if that wind picks up, if we get a squall, I like Nell's chance.
A sea squall?
Do we get squalls this time of year?
Or Kyle.
That was right. Well, David had a trivia question of
The biggest squall.
the biggest squall in Boston Marathon.
No, there was a solar eclipse.
Yeah,
in
but how was it?
1939.
The question was what
natural phenomenon?
Natural
Because someone was like, solar eclipse isn't weather, and I said I did not specify.
my guess was
weather.
a squall on that.
Well, someone yesterday when we were doing a little man on the street content said one time the Boston Marathon was canceled for weather, and they totally forgot about 2018. They don't cancel this
No.
takes very special things for this to be canceled.
All right, a couple more shout outs in the YouTube chat here. We've got people watching from London, Terrytown, Sacramento,
Nice.
Boston, expat based in Washington, D.C., Swedesboro, New Jersey, Chicago, Austin, Croydon, London, Virginia.
The West Coast isn't
Santa
awake yet.
Monica, Liverpool.
Santa Monica, there you go.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the best time zone to live in?
Someone said David's house.
I think, honestly, the West Coast is the best. You could watch this whole thing before work. You're up at 6:30, rise and shine.
If you're a morning person, I was going to say, so someone on Twitter was asking if 4 cups of coffee is a lot of coffee to have this early. It is. I did drive someone to the loading buses this morning, but I will say, pro tip here, if you're watching the Boston Marathon and you're local or not local and you just, want to have a good day, my standard when I'm not here, mimosas, waffles, walk down to the course.
Why
That
aren't
is
we
the
having
perfect
mimosas?
way. We coulda, I don't know.
We're just having Olipop and coffee right and early.
At my house right now, there is a watch party with mimosas and
A
waffles.
competing
and
watch party.
Well,
David.
they're watching us.
We understand that you don't want to be here. It's fine.
I should have. I didn't realize that there wasn't going to be champagne here. I would have brought a bottle with me.
If you're in Eastern Europe, is it the end of the workday yet? Or you have to go into
No, it's like
Asia?
5 hours. Yeah.
No, just bring
I
us
wouldn't
back.
say time zones are CITIUS MAG's best attribute here.
No,
If
it's
you're in
not.
Japan, you're watching this over dinner or even
That's
like
actually
a
nice.
nightcap. So
I'm bringing us back to when we did this show without video because we weren't there yet in Martha's Vineyard, trying to cover
Oh, yeah.
the Tokyo Olympics, really not understanding the time zones at all and having our sleep in between the morning and afternoon sessions.
Northern Ireland is in the chat.
I'm selling time zones. We should all be on the same time
One
zone.
universal time
and
zone.
just some people live in the dark. Like the sunset doesn't always set in 5 p.m. the whole world.
That's what
Some
they do in
places.
China.
To pivot off that, let's talk quickly about the chair races before we go too deep into Kyle's thought.
A lot of hot takes.
A lot of hot takes. We have our 2 favorites, Marcel, who up front he's Swiss, and Susanna Scaroni. So really 2 athletes that have just been absolutely dominating the world major marathons in the chair races. Marcel has the record on this course in 1:18:04 from 2017. And the record is also on the women's side from Switzerland from Manuel Achar from 2017 as well. So it's kind of cool that the record is from the same year on the chair side.
Favorites up in the front right now.
Hugh has won. I'm not even going to count what the total is, but he's won Berlin 3 times, New York 4 times, London 3 times, Chicago once, and Boston 5 times.
Wow.
That is quite the medal shelf for sure. that is an impressive run of dominance. And he's not even the most winningest Boston Marathon wheelchair champion. Ernst Van Dyke has 10 Boston Marathon victories. So he's only 37. He's got a couple years left to, hopefully get that all-time title victory too.
And they're just so strong. The real question is, how far could Marcel Hugh throw Kyle?
The famous Ryan Krauser question.
We're 5 minutes away from the start of the men's pro race.
Do you think the wheelchair athletes have any different weather preferences that the runners?
Probably.
Like, are there different things that
tires?
does
Probably the
humidity
rain.
have a
I would
different impact?
I mean, headwind, absolutely.
Headwind.
But I think the surface of what's the friction.
Slippery sections of course is definitely gonna.
But this is a great course because there's not as many hard turns as well.
I'm interested to see. So we're getting
getting
our first shots of the men's elite field right now.
Watching here as they're getting ready.
We got some arm sleeves, we got some gloves. So it's.
I would
not
definitely
that
start this
cold.
race with
The
gloves.
folks are bundled up out there.
Kipchoge's not committed to a winter hat. He's just going
He's just going the
band.
He's
the
going
ear
style,
band.
baby. What do we think of all the new kits this year? Do folks have a favorite?
Adidas goes absolutely crazy. They
I
put
like
all the
the
ideas
Adidas.
in, they mixed it up. But I like how it's differentiated and you can see.
Yeah, it's
Everyone's
busy.
talking about
It's
the
a
Nike
busy
Morse
kit.
code on their kits.
I like the world
thought it was
champ.
Braille.
We'll see in the women's race. Gotjam Gebrselassie has the world champ Nike kit. The black and white, I think, really, really pops.
Is there more? Is it actually Morse code or does it just look like Morse code?
No, it looks like Morse code.
I would just be doing whatever warm up or stretch Kipchoge's doing. I would just follow him around. I'm like, we're touching our toes. And also, how many people have asked for a picture?
I like-
DJ was saying on the broadcast, he had the alternate perspective. He thinks everyone does too much warm up to get ready for the marathon. He just kind of vibes until the race starts.
Mac, we don't even have a
Here's a
split
question.
screen. We've got a triple screen right now.
I'm in
Too
heaven right now. Too many.
Do you know the
Too
answer
many.
to this question?
Take them down.
Someone in the chat is wondering, why are they starting the women after the men?
I believe it is somewhat related to the changes made in after 2018 when there was the confusion over elite versus non-elite prize money. So it used to be that as somebody who, were I to run the Boston Marathon, would be right on the border of like slowest guy in the elite field, fastest guy in the open field. It's actually the me's, the 219 marathoners of the world get kind of screwed by this system. But the idea is that the men's elite field starts at a separate time from the open race, so it is considered its own race, and therefore people from the open race are not eligible to win prize money.
In New York, they have a women's start, and it's honestly very, very challenging for the sub-elite woman because you're by yourself. You're completely alone. So it's way better on the women's side of things, especially for people who, are trying to get an OTQ mark to have men around as well. This looks like
Manuela Schar.
Or wheel.
There's a crash.
a loose wheel from.
Wow.
It reminds me of in the Phantom Menace during the pod race when they got to keep like making repairs during the race. That's
the
talking
only one
about a hardware problem. Yeah, everyone just left the stream after I started talking about Star Wars. But no, talk about
I had no idea what you were talking
things
about.
you got to factor in. But she's back and going, still looking good.
Running is so simple.
Let's say those wheelchairs are like 35 grand.
Yeah.
They're so expensive.
Well-
Because
We got a second stop again.
She's stopping again.
This is not good.
This chair is new for her, like of the last year, and it takes a long time for them to kind of adapt to the position because each chair is actually different.
When
I think that
talking
was a
with
replay,
Brian Reynolds
so-
the other day, he was saying that they're tens of thousands of dollars for the running legs. I think it was 30,000 for the pair.
leg.
Was it per leg 30,000?
I think that's what maybe you had mentioned.
That's crazy.
With the legs as well, they have to be custom molded. And there's so many little adjustments you have to make. If you watch any of Hunter Woodhull's YouTube videos, he goes into really in depth on the sprint side of you'll be running in it and then you'll get an irritation. You'll have to fix things. So it just takes having a really good relationship with the person making your prosthetics, and very few people make the elite ones.
We are
All right.
seconds away, baby.
From the start of the 127th
Who is this? Is this
Boston
guy
Marathon.
that they keep zooming in on?
No idea.
At least we're honest here.
The broadcast thinks that he's the star of the show.
We must be on the French feed or whatever this is. All right.
That's just like the highest donor to the race gets to start with. The
Oh,
field.
this is cool. they put Benson and Evans right next to Kipchoge right from the start.
Get that pick.
Smart.
It really is a free fall.
I just got
Look at
a
that.
notification on my phone. We might be a couple seconds behind real life, but
Well, that's good. That's fine.
the race is underway.
Don't tell us what happens.
Yeah.
Chris, are you going to call the start of the race?
You go ahead.
You missed it.
And they're off.
The 127th running of the Boston Marathon is underway.
Ooh, I'm
So
liking.
David, tell us a little bit about like this. This is you're free falling, right? Like
Oh,
at
this
point?
is the worst. I've done. I have never run the Boston Marathon, but I've run almost every step of the course at some point in my life. And I once during 2020 they did a virtual 5K where you would just go out and get your own time in the first 5K of the race, and it is like it's not just downhill. It is steep. It is outright, pounding on your quads in the first 2-3 miles of this race. So you'll see as these guys come down the hill here, there's a significant, maybe the most significant downhill grade of the race is in the first mile. And if you're not prepared for that, your rhythm is going to be all off for the whole first half of the race.
So we see CJ Albertson tucked in right behind Kipchoge.
Oh, I love that.
Stay
Marking his
patient,
man.
CJ.
I love that.
We got Mance running wide out here. He doesn't want any of this crowd.
Vance
Mance's
really
arms.
opens up on the downhill, I feel.
I was told that by a coach at one point that you're supposed to. It's helpful to have your arms wide as you're running downhill to keep your balance.
Is that a trail
Looks
thing?
like Mance got the same advice.
I think that's how Mance kind of always runs.
If you're Kipchoge right now, you're like, I don't know what everyone was talking about. This course is very easy.
Half a mile in.
What is the fastest first mile here? Like, David, do you know?
I don't know. I would bet it's something like 4:30, 4:40, because every couple of years somebody really takes it out hot from the gun. Yuki did that the year that he won. I think there was too much wind for it to be record setting, but
All right, so a reminder for people, the course record on the men's side is 2:03 by Geoffrey Mutai back in 2011. They had a strong tailwind that year. Pre-super shoes.
Let's get those splits.
Oh, yeah, to see like how they compare. I think we could probably dig those up.
and we can see Fauble dead center pitcher right here, but one other guy you can really clearly see because he's so tall is Matt McDonald from the BAA, who has finished
209.
really strongly here in the past. He's run a couple marathons kind of in that 209, 211 range. He's probably not going to be contending for the win, but in terms of a top 10 finish and top American,
And he knows this course better than anyone. When you're training on the course every day.
he is a pro runner for the BAA, but he also works full time as an engineer and has his PhD. So really
Mock
lazy,
cookie.
unmotivated guy.
So Mutai, when he ran 2:03, just as a reminder, that's 4:41 pace. So we're looking at sub 14:40 5Ks along the way. His halfway was 101. First 5K was 14:47 that year. So we have an idea if Kipchoge's going for sub 2:03 effort or not.
No, thank you. Don't want none of that.
We see Albert Courier there on the inside,
Yeah, Albert Career,
taking the
someone who was,
shortest
like,
distance possible.
very intriguing. He's the 2021 New York City Marathon champion. He doesn't have a super fast PR on paper. I think it's like 2:08 or something like that.
But he's good at hard courses.
Yeah, and so that's why I look to him as potentially a dark horse candidate here.
So we're live on ESPN doing the alternate commentating for people who just joined. I really enjoy this comment in the chat. CJ is the only person who can break Kipchoge in all caps. Sarah Hall on the screen right now is someone we have not talked a lot about.
Well, because she had a shortened build-up. You know, there was
Hamstring
some
injury?
IT band.
IT band, that's what it was. Correct.
And
Lower leg injury somehow.
well, that's the thing. It's we kind of love the idea of super transparent interviews and athletes telling us what's going on. We're, you know, giving that appreciation to Emma Bates for that fire and that hype. But then if someone has like the smallest little thing that happened months ago, we're counting them out. It's like, oh, she had an IT band injury
And
2
then-
months ago. Like,
And then if you
Forget
subscribe to
everything.
the, like, what have you done for me lately? She won the
Yes.
USATF 10.
Yeah, second
final?
at the Cherry Blossom.
Oh, second.
second
Well, she was second, but
overall,
she won
but
the
it's-
U.S.
yeah, which is always very confusing.
I know. I was getting those results. I was like, did she win? Did she not?
All right, we have a first mile split.
Connor Mance learned about the tangents.
First mile was 4:37.
All right, we are ahead of
solid.
pace.
And one thing to keep an eye out on there, this course, you know, we think of it as a point-to-point, a straight course, but there's some wiggles and winds along the way. And you know, Mance is running the shortest line right now, and you'll see at certain points on the course, there's the triple blue line marking where to run, but that line is not the tangents. It's not the shortest race. It goes down the middle of the road for the most part. So you will see runners that are, you know, trying to be mindful of every step and every meter they're saving, you know, cutting to the sides on some of these winding courses like Mance just did.
Do you think Fable and Mance were both like, you're not going to wear the white hat too, are you? It's like,
I like the alternate color arm sleeves that Fable has on, although I kind of wish that they were flipped. I wish the white was contrasting the navy uniform, but
David Stylecaster,
yeah, you didn't know you were
2023.
getting a fashion critique while you were running. I'm also loving Gay on the left here. I want to know like who made his beanie. Is that an Alpine Tulimic original? But because that thing looks warm.
how long does that stay on?
We'll find out.
There should be, that's another over-under type thing that you could have said.
We've also got a Chad Hall in there. And
Yeah.
I'm curious what
He was in
the
row
fastest
two.
brothers are combined marathon times are, because
From the U.S. or overall?
oh I don't know I don't know either one, but Chad did open up with a 2:12 for his debut a couple months ago. I think it was a little banged up just after that, but I think he's had a good block going into this. So I'm actually curious how he performs against the other Americans here.
People forget that he's the one Hall in the family who's 1 Foot Locker.
Oh, yeah.
We also got
The
some
only one.
information
Yeah.
from the chat that the A6 athlete that we were zooming in on that we didn't know much about is Chantoff is visually impaired marathon record holder. So they were probably talking about it.
How
That's
fast?
pretty cool.
Haven't gotten that far yet.
Come on, Chatter.
Come on, give us some more information. Make our jobs easier.
We did have someone, I think, like, it was Lou Serafini in the chat, I think, earlier, said he'd run on the course this morning. Headwind
Headwind.
is what they're dealing with right now.
I will say one thing to keep a note on. Augustine Choge, who is a member of the NN running team with Eliud, has been right with him stride for stride. I wonder if perhaps he has received some very specific instructions about, you know, controlling the race from the front for his teammates and you know, maybe taking some of the flack if folks start slowing it down or throwing in surges.
So what do you make of this 1 mile in strategy by Chibet and Kipruto? It doesn't seem, they're just sitting right now.
This race is all going to be
Second half.
30K on.
I think there's going to be a big pack coming down the Newton Hills. I think it's going to be 10 plus people.
We needed
still.
our boy Daniel Dos Nascimento in this.
I was very sad when I saw him drop out, the athlete who took out New York City Marathon. I think that would have been so fun just to see
Yeah.
another breakaway. But I do think it's bad for coverage when someone goes out that fast. I really don't enjoy because then, sorry, CJ, then it's just all on them and it's really hard to talk about commentating the race.
I'm loving the fact that Kipchoge is at the front right now. I probably not expecting this. Not that he's trying to break anyone or doing something crazy at the moment, but he's asserted himself there early.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to? The women's race is supposed to start like right now, right?
In like 30 seconds or so. I think our stream might be a little bit behind, but that's all right. Because then people can know what happens and tune in for our reactions. When someone falls, then you just tune in to see our reaction.
CJ's right in there. McDonald's in there. Nice American presence. Women going off in 45 seconds or so.
Yep.
All right, I got more information of the athlete Chenitov of Morocco. He has run a 2:19 marathon, visually impaired record holder, Paralympic champion. There you go.
Look at Nell's uniform. Is that green?
Green.
That's
the
cool.
women's Nike Pro kits this year, the non-world champ ones are like a mint green kind of. I think the black
I
and
like the
white
Puma
looks sick.
kit.
I don't love the mint as much.
Or is that just the old OTC kit that they had left over, Mac?
Sometimes when you're working at a company, they have these. Oh, I'm not going to miss the start.
All right, there we go. The women's race is now underway.
I was going to say they have these like trend color forecasters, and sometimes it's all the same color. But I love the mix here.
Laura Thweet, someone that we were not talking about.
Training out in Boulder.
Maggie
Seems like they're
Montoya.
trying to really pump the brakes here.
They
Going
are
down the-
Yeah,
jogging.
This is a jog fest. Where's Helen? Let's go.
Wow. Total opposite approach than the men's.
I'm
That's exciting. That's really
I like that.
exciting.
I want to see one race go fast, one go tactical. Get the best. of
Does,
both worlds.
both of them
does
tactical,
Helen
baby.
O'Beary know how to run this slow? Like I've never seen her do this before.
Wow.
Oh, it's a jog, baby.
I
Yeah.
mean, in a case like this, wow.
Lona Salpeter, my pick up front next to Emma Bates. That's Dakota Lindworm as well. Lindworm. She runs for Puma. Coming back to Boston. Why pick Boston again and again?
Because, I mean, we've said it before, but right now it makes sense for Americans to run Boston. You can get one last marathon in before the Olympic trials. I think that we're going to see a lot of people running the track season this year. I think it makes sense for a lot of the athletes to come down a little bit after a spring buildup, get some speed work in. August, get back into the mileage and the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you don't want to run into a situation where, like, all of a sudden, then you're way too close, trying to cram a good performance in before the marathon trials. At this point, everyone kind of knows what the rest of their year looks like.
Well, I don't know if we want to dive into trying to explain the standards and qualifying here.
I think I've got it boiled down to like a 30-second
All right.
recap.
We'll give you the floor.
You know, in the U.S. they like doing things on a trial selection, so nobody's punching their ticket in the sense of they are definitely going to either Budapest or Paris next year. But to get what is considered an automatic qualifier, the only way you can do it at Boston is with a top 5 finish, because Boston is net downhill. It's a point-to-point course. It's not eligible for qualifying for time purposes. So in a way, it actually, you know, in terms of tracking the qualifiers in this race, it's pretty simple. If you finish top 5, you've got an Olympic qualifier or a world qualifier. And if you finish outside the top 5, you have a lovely, nice, new, fast PR, but it doesn't matter for qualifying purposes.
So those times outside of Boston being the top 5 need are 2:08, 10, and 2:26.50
That's
for the Olympics.
That's moving. Yeah, there's many more women have the qualifier than men in the U.S. No
American men
has it yet. Yeah, I will say, you know, one thing to think about too is as they have pushed for selecting teams and fields more on world ranking than on just who has the qualifier. A high finish at a race like Boston is going to rank quite heavily in your world ranking. So, you know, assuming that USATF continues to honor ranking as a qualifying purpose, if you're finishing really high at this race and then you go on to finish top 3 at trials, you're probably going to go regardless of what time you've run.
So they were 2 miles, the men, in 9:14.
We're getting
Another 4:37.
They are rolling quick.
Yeah.
Where are you getting the mile splits?
I'll send.
Twitter.
Because the site only has 5K 10.
Yeah.
The mile splits are in the chat, the link that I dropped.
We're
know why I
about to
said that.
get the women's first
Yeah, I'm so curious
mile
what this is going
split.
to be. On
I'm
the women's
refreshing.
side. The part was I ran into
Says the race husband.
NAZ's Ben Rosario in the elevator this morning, and he was like locked in. He didn't even notice that I was standing right next to him in the elevator. And then I was like, "So, what are you watching?" And he was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even notice that you were there." And then they have a whole plan. It's really cool. They're going to be on the course a couple times. But then, he was feeling really good about Alfie, and then I said, I picked her to be top American woman. And then he said, "I think she's going to be a little bit more than top American woman." So,
Whoa, love the confidence.
14:17 first 5K. That is not
14:17. Yeah, don't reveal that yet.
we'll do.
No, I was going to say don't reveal the 5K split. Let Mac press his button.
Yeah, we're gonna have key race alerts all throughout because I said last year we felt like we were in an election night, like war room, and we're gonna lean into that a little bit more this year.
The women's splits are really lagging here.
Yeah, show it. But wait, we have some breaking news.
Breaking news. Key race alert. All right, hit him with the news. Our leaderboard right now for the first, 5K. They went through in 14:17. Connor Mantz, Eliud Kipchoge up in the front. It's a whole pack of more than a dozen guys. So top Americans in that pack are Connor Mantz, C.J. Albertson, Colin McCow.
We'll have to. We haven't seen a section of the stream yet, but
okay. So here
here we go.
A move happened. We missed it.
We missed the move already, and it's
We
only
were so
5K
busy
in.
saying that
I'm
there was
losing
a
my
key
mind.
alert.
So
I hope the chat liked the key
They
alert.
didn't even cut to commercial, and we somehow missed the move. But
Connor Mantz looks like he's racing for his life after 5K.
Okay, but
Well,
this
he
is
always
something
looks
that people
like
noted, that some of the pros have noted before, is that people are very aggressive and it gets really messy around like the water stations. But it just seems like chaos all broke loose at the 5K mark because now we have just two packs of people, and there's I think 2 Americans in this one. It is CJ and Connor Mantz. Scott Fauble has dropped back to the second group, and that's something we've seen last year as well, sort of, where Fauble just really trusts his knowledge of the course and his fitness, and is going to hope that a lot of these people come back to him in the second half. But man, we have a breakaway pack right now, and that's I think 10 guys up in the front.
Yep, and it looks like he's in the pack somewhere there. But the guy in red was in first for a second. That's John Career, who is the Los Angeles Marathon 2-time defending champ. He has not a huge resume on the world stage, but he did get third in Chicago in 2022. So he might be one of those guys to kind of throw in those surges and hit the remix button and try and throw Kipchoge off his rhythm.
In
case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know, Eliud Kipchoge's up in the front.
Looks like we got Talby, Kyle's neighbor, up here in the front pack. It looks like
a juice box that Mantz has?
Yeah.
What is that straw?
That's a Capri Sun.
No, it looks like a scientific pipette.
This is really funny.
Is that a crazy straw?
No, sometimes they use like ketchup bottles.
wait, I just realized the BYU runners that are practicing Mormons, are they not allowed to have the Mortons with caffeine in them?
I don't know. It's a
Question for another day.
Everyone's personal choice. Yeah, you're asking the wrong.
All right, the women's first mile split. Guess.
We would know that answer.
Guess what the first mile split was, guys.
Oh, I just saw it.
Kyle, what do you think the women's first mile split was?
5:40.
6:09.
I would have been
downhill.
in it. I would have been in it.
What does that convert
Chris,
to?
what-
7:15.
I would have.
That's it. 6:09 pace is 2:40.50. You're not even making the U.S. Olympic trials with that.
E-race alert. Yeah.
We got a couple Brooks kits at the first. We got that looks like Olivia Pratt and Blaney from Hanson's Brooks.
There
and
we
some
go.
good screen time.
Oh, nice.
Huge American
Megan
pack
Christian,
up
who's
front.
entered in a marathon probably tomorrow.
She was probably at Rotterdam. We didn't even know about
Yeah.
it.
I can't believe how quickly the men's race has thinned out.
This is literally the opposite of what I predicted. So clearly, I'm an idiot.
So I'm trying to see here. Do we still see Chabet and Kipruto in there? I would
There's
think they are.
Kipruto on the right.
Okay.
Chabet's off to the right.
Okay. All right. So both boys are in it.
Yeah.
Mance is talking to CJ. I wonder. They're having like a full-on conversation. I wonder
Someone
what
in
their
the chat
strategy is.
asked us if we could tell the race time so they can put it. It's on the men's side, 19 minutes and 21, 22, 23
It's
seconds.
on the screen.
Okay.
They can see it.
Okay. Oh, we're matching
Look to
up.
the bottom right of your screen.
Look at Mac go.
Mac's biggest pet peeve is there not being
Well, one of the funniest parts about being here, we're on Newbury Street in the Brooks Hyperion House, is that when the finish comes along, we can hear Newbury Street, so we'll probably hear them finish before we'll see it on the TV.
Oh, we got Big Papi on screen.
Oh, David Ortiz. Ugh. That's me as a Yankee fan, by the way.
Big Papi, one of the greats.
No.
Do you think he was Grand Marshal so they wouldn't make him run? He's like, I'd want to be in a car the whole time.
I don't think he was going to run no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, commercial.
One of the other fun things at the Brooks Hyperion House is I'm wearing a finisher soccer inspired scarf. And if you're a finisher of the race,
already?
I ran my own race this morning. It was 3 miles getting the weather report. But if you come here after and you actually ran the race and somehow you figured it out from this chat, you can come get a scarf.
Just got alert that John Anderson on the broadcast just said that the pace on the men's side was a little spicy, and he was using my line now.
You invented the word spicy.
I did.
Yeah.
The original hot sauce guy.
Do we want to show where they're running right now?
Go for it.
Go for it. Mac wants to just
Do it.
unveil all of the graphics now. All right, so he worked on this for 6 months. All right, so what you see on screen right now is the start of the Boston Marathon.
Where are we right now?
David can break this down right here.
Oh, here we go.
Tell people where we're at so far on the course.
If they're not crossed over into Ashland yet, they soon will be. It looks like the men are probably in Ashland, closing in on Framingham in a mile or two. The women are still making their way through Hopkinton. It's at this point in the race, pretty steady downhill. One thing to keep in mind is there are some, pretty significant declines, but they are broken up by choppy little, intermediate uphills. It's not, a full smooth ride the whole way down, pretty much until you hit Wellesley and the famous Scream Tunnel at Wellesley College. Once you're around mile 13, it stays flat or downhill for the next 5K or so, and that is where you can get kind of suckered into feeling a little too good, a little too early. What we see on screen right now is Framingham. This is going through downtown, and you can actually see the Framingham Worcester line, the commuter rail train going right alongside it. So one thing a lot of Boston-based runners that are training for the race will do is take the train out to different spots along the course on Saturday mornings and then run back in so you can practice running on the course.
We're good.
We are back, baby.
We're back.
You'll find out about the second half of the course soon.
In the very small left-hand corner of the ESPN screen, there's one woman who has broken away, but I cannot see
I think it's Megan Crifton.
who it is. It's
They, you know what? We asked for a split screen, and they gave us so many that we can't even see what is happening.
One of them's cutting out.
and the women are
We
just
only wanted
gone.
like 2 split screens. 5 is too much.
And look at that. That's a huge pack. There are 30,000 runners running today.
And in seconds, we are going to get the open race off and underway.
30,000 runners, 117,000 men, 12,000 women, 27 non-binary entrants. That's a crazy difference between the men's and women's general residence. 17 to 12, a 5,000 person difference. Residents of 106 countries in all 50 states, citizens of 120 countries, and 4,704 Massachusetts residents.
Nice.
And as I see them coming through, shouting out the gold stripe of my Boston Hair teammates out there, I saw a couple of those runners who will hopefully be mixing it up at the front of the open race. But overall, it looks like spirits are high and folks are ready to have fun. Honestly, at this point, you're probably just glad to not be penned up into the starting corral and get the legs moving.
And this weather looks
Feeling good.
perfect. When you're seeing people comfortably in singlets, some with gloves, some without, this is a day you've been praying for months.
What do you think the people whose house is directly on the starting line are doing today?
They I
What is it?
actually popped into one time to use the bathroom.
Right before the race.
Right before the race, yeah. Like the people are out on their front lawns, like they're pretty welcoming and accommodating. Like, I just was like, hey, I really need to use the bathroom.
Imagine
like,
buying the house not knowing that it's the start. You're like,
Yeah, well, so I will say
don't hold me.
my
what is this group run?
my old job, my boss represented Hopkinton, and there's a real like pride for being the starting line. Like people love this. This is one of the most exciting days of the year for this town. And one thing that is fantastic that probably a lot of people don't know about is as you see runners shedding their outer layer, what people will often call their throwaways, which is like the Goodwill t-shirt that you buy just to stay warm until the race starts. There's a huge network of charity volunteers who sweep through Hopkinton after the race gets started to collect the clothes that people discard and then donate them. And I'm told, I've never seen it in person, but it's like the most coordinated, military operation you've ever seen. And within, 2 hours of the last wave going off, you would never even know that there was a marathon happening.
And this year's Boston Marathon is raising over $40 million for charity.
We should get the same cleanup people to do our oceans.
I was gonna say, David, the people that live there are really excited about all the people being outside. Why wasn't our Airbnb host that excited during Worlds?
One group run, got a couple hundred people that show up. We're getting threatened to get kicked out of our Airbnb.
Turn your mic off and on.
And we have Susanna Scaroni getting over her technical difficulties, still leading on the women's side, and Marcel Hug on the men's side in the chair races. They are getting pretty close to the finish here. Mile 20 going up hill.
Do we
And
have
then-
any recent splits?
Recent split, I was about to say, from the pro women's side, they decided that the 6:09 first mile was not for them. They dropped down to a 5:38 mile 2, led by Megan.
Still no women's 5K split, right? No.
Not yet. We're only 11 minutes into the women's race.
16 minutes.
16 minutes.
Man, it's
My live results are not excellent
yeah,
for
my
the
results
tracker.
haven't pulled them up yet.
It's on the Dana. It's on the screen.
Oh, that's the one I should be looking at.
Mac is the far most organized of all of us,
The
clearly.
BAA results are not populating on the women's side. Well, I'm waiting for my mile 3 split then.
My mom just texted me that she's streaming the race despite her morning meetings. So if she can do it, everyone else can too.
Kipchoge is leading this thing.
I can't believe
Yeah.
that.
He's not racing at all from second, third, fourth. He's leading.
And
From
his
the gun.
his teammate Choge looks like he's barely hanging on, so he's not going to be the pace setter because he can't stay with the front.
We've got CJ Albertson being patient.
Being patient or hurting from the early pace. It's
No, he's-
crazy.
This is kind of what CJ was afraid of
Yeah.
because he was going to key off either Manson. He was afraid Manson's going to go out too fast, but he wanted Scott to be a little bit more committed early. and it
Scott
looks
is
like
being
Scott's doing the
super
same thing
conservative
in
right
New
now.
York.
Kipchoge looking behind him there. Look, if I'm Kipchoge and I saw our graphics and saw that I picked someone not named Elliott to win, I would be insulted.
Yeah.
And I think he saw it, and he said,
The
"I'll
Michael
show
Jordan
you how
meme,
great
and
I
I took that personally.
Yeah. I saw Kyle said Evans Chabet, and I'll show you how great I am."
5K splits. Do we want to?
Yeah, give a little
Key
key
race
race
alert.
alert.
Key race alert. We've got women's 5K splits coming up. All right. So if you look at your screen right now, Megan Krifchen is your 5K leader right now. They hit 5K in 17:48. Right behind her, Amani Barisa, who's run 2:14.
Bariso's taking the lead right now in front of her.
World champ Gotti Tom Gebrselassie is up there as well. Emma Bates, another American in that pack. Helen Obiri, somewhere in that bunch as well. So it is still very, very bunched up.
So the first splits were 6:09, 5:38, 5:29.
All right,
Little progression.
we're heating
there.
up.
And that's Kyle's pick, Bariso at the front right now. So
A hot take. I think the 214 woman might run well.
Someone has to have it.
yeah, it's unusual seeing Helen Obiri so deep in the pack like this. She generally likes to be out front. And one thing,
Ooh, all right.
all right, we
Another
as they
move
come up
being
on
made
the
here, another
bottle.
water station.
Oh, Evan
was that?
Chibet
Just
misses
missed
the
it.
bottle.
Just take someone else's.
I think that. So actually, that's a very interesting thing. At the very end, they have a table with emergency bottles. Like if you miss yours and you're one of the early ones.
There often is sharing if you do miss
Yeah,
a bottle.
Capruto got his.
If I miss my bottle, I'm knocking everyone else's down.
Even playing field.
And it looks like here at the front we've got Evans and Benson. They're sharing. So hopefully they'll be able to.
Scoop.
Another juice
There you
box.
go. There's the share from the teammates.
I'm so thirsty. I need
Is
apple
he
juice.
sponsored by Capri Sun?
One of the things, one of the guys we haven't talked about much, who is coming through there was Gabriel Gay, who does not have a long list of wins, but he has run 203 flat, the Tanzanian national record at Valencia last year. So he's probably not too mad about this spicy early pace.
Look, it's David on TV reenacting Battle of
this-
Lexington and Concord.
This is what we need split screen for.
Yeah, we
The
don't
race
need,
is happening.
Race is happening, and there was a
And we're looking at
pretty
a guy drumming and some
key and
muskets.
pivotal moment, and we need to show the. what do
We
you
need
call
to
it?
show the British
The
what's going to
reenactment.
happen if they mess around
Yeah.
and find out.
How do you decide that you want to
Me and
be
my
on?
boys when they find out someone's doing the London Marathon. Yeah, we need the split screen
There
so we
go.
know what's
And-
going on in the
Sorry,
reenactment when
now
the
here's
race is
problem
on.
with this split screen. It's just like, why the extra blue space?
So we've got
Zoom in.
in the men's wheelchair race, it looks like Hugh is going through Cleveland Circle, which is the trickiest part for the wheelchairs because they got to go over the train tracks.
Oh, key race alert! Key race alert! Key race alert, everybody!
This is crazy.
All right, key race alert. We've got 10K splits.
Oh my
The
god.
men hit 10K in 28:52. That's Benson Kipruto, Ali Kipchoge, John Career up in the front, Gabriel Gay, Evans Chibet, Mark Career, Albert Career, Connor Mance. They're all in the mix.
28:52.
Yep.
28,
So we're still on
52.
201 high pace.
Yeah. And then the next American after Connor Mance is CJ Albertson, 6 seconds back. And then after that, Colin McCow is 38 seconds back. I haven't seen an update on Fauble. So I'm a little concerned.
It's interesting to think about how different the races come the Olympic trials when you eliminate everyone who's run 203.
Yeah.
Tell us more, Kyle.
Well, it's just like at Mance right now, are you going out this hard and running away from
This
the
is
Faubles of the world if you're the one who has to do all the work to make that happen?
is Connor Mance? He would likely be eligible to run the World Championships this summer, but he potentially isn't going to.
He's doing track.
He's going to do track instead. So this is his first test to say, I believe in myself. I'm going to make the Olympic team, and I want practice running on the world stage. So I think that's what he's doing today. Is he's so young in this sport and marathoning, so he's going out there and saying, 2024 in Paris, I don't want to just be there to be an Olympian. I want to see how much work I have to do to get a medal.
It is a good first taste.
11 men on 201 pace.
Right now,
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna see some positive splits. I have a feeling.
we have my split says 2:02:45 estimated finish.
Okay. It's
Maybe
still-
that's like taking into account the second half being harder.
The women dropped down to their next mile from 5:29 to 5:24. So this is becoming a grind fest.
And
All
it
right.
has slowed down a little bit in the men's side. It's now the last mile was 4:52 after the first four were all under 4:40. So they are, well, it doesn't look like it probably right now. They are settling into a bit of a 208-ish pace. We'll see sort of how that factors out over the next couple more even or rolling miles.
Emma Bates asserting herself towards the front of that pack, sticking her nose in it. CJ's in a tough spot now, huh? Do you think if you're him, do you just say, let's chill for a few miles and wait for that second pack to come?
He's run so many miles alone, does most of his training alone.
Yeah.
I think if he's in a really good mental headspace, he can just maintain in that space and know that people are going to blow up and come back. But it's going to be a lonely.
Just let off the
Lonely
gas a
race.
little
Looking
bit.
at these gaps, 12 to 13 is Albertson to Mikko, and that's 32 seconds. So, he would, if he really wants to run with people, he would really have to kind of pump the brakes, and that can sometimes be just as uncomfortable as just maintaining pace and hoping a pack catches you. It looks like Fabel is down. It looks like there's Mikko, Fabel, Geber Selassie, Pfeiffer, Fopu, and Franz, and a couple other guys, including Chad Hall and Matt McDonald and Nico Montañez, a 209 guy we haven't spent much time talking about. They're all packed up in this chase pack, and for some of those guys who are not necessarily going to be able to handle that 202 pace, that might be the smart move. It looks like Ben True right now is in the third pack, which is around 30:17 at 10K. So really we're seeing two packs all about 30-40 seconds apart from one another. Sorry, three packs. And there's only one way to find out who's playing the smart move, and that's to let the race play out.
The men's race just slowed down just a little bit. They ran 4:52 for the 7th mile.
Looking at Marcel Hugh on the screen right now, all by himself, you can really see how many potholes there are on the Boston road. It's not looking so good. It's looking a little slick out there. I'm not sure. It didn't rain this morning in Boston.
It's just been misty. One guy who has been kind of a little up and down the past couple of years, Shira Katada, looks like he went out at closer to that first pack in the first 5K, and he's dropped now to 29:50 at 10K. So unless he's really, really playing it smart, I would suspect that he's maybe having a tough day out there, and we won't see him later on.
The over-under on Kyle's trips to the bathroom during this live stream.
Yeah, what was the over/under?
3.5.
I think I
I'll
could
go
hit the
toe-to-toe
under.
with you. I'm next in the.
So we're at
bathroom,
1.
but-
Mac, we need a graphic counter on that.
Key race alert.
You know what I think about in the marathons? Like,
What do you think about in the marathons, Kyle?
do you look at your heart rate on your GPS watch if you're
Do you ever look at your heart rate on your GPS watch
Sometimes
when
you
you're doing
just
a
see
workout?
it. You see it.
If I'm struggling, I look down and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Like if at mile 2 you look down, you're like 180, huh?
This is not going to be a
Yeah,
good
I think
day.
you absolutely do look.
You do look.
Yeah, well, this is coming from me. I always talk to you when you were training for your marathon stuff. I was constantly bringing up heart rate. And you're
Yeah.
like, shut up. I don't care about that.
But on race day,
yeah, because you have to stay in your zone. If you overcook yourself, you're done.
Yeah.
All these guys know exactly where they should be.
you think so?
I don't think you're
Yes,
looking
absolutely.
at all.
You think all of these guys?
They know where they should be. I don't know if they're necessarily like gauging everything off of it.
Yeah.
A little bit of racing, but like, there's no way they're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I'm at 195 BPMs. I'm just gonna stay doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
They,
Well,
they know.
I know that this year for the first time ever, there's a blood lactate station, mile 5, so everyone can stop and get their blood pricked from their finger and see.
That can't be real. That is something that Team Boss does.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see them sharing, they do the lactate testing on their ear on the treadmill. Obviously a little harder to do it out. I don't think they're looking at all. I honestly don't think they're looking at their heart rate at all. They know their splits like the back of their hand. They're doing math in their brains of what each second off is, and they're just looking for that next mile.
My favorite heart rate data that I've ever looked at was Molly Seidel on Strava during the Olympic marathon. It was sort of like climbing, and it's like when you realize you're about to win a medal, it's like 200. It's like she's having a heart attack at the finish line.
It's also the hardest part.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're generally the most tired.
generally.
This is so insightful.
So the way the human heart works.
Kenmore
All right, so
Square.
what do you think Kipchoge's second half is going to be if he's taking it out this hard?
Just a tiny bit faster.
We've got 1 mile left in the men's wheelchair race, just past mile 25. Marcel is on 2:57 miles. Just absolutely cruising through. So he'll be finishing around 3 or 4 minutes right here.
I'm glad we're cutting to me eating pastries on the air. That's what the people really want to
My
see.
turn too.
We need a graphic, Mac. We need a bathroom break count on the screen.
Is there anyone that we would have expected to be in that front pack that is not there right now?
On the men's side?
Katata's been kind of all over the place. So he's anywhere from, second in the New York Marathon last year to DNFing the Olympic Games in the last couple of years.
He's not in that front pack.
Yeah, he was falling off hard when you were peeing. And
Guys.
Every time
All
I
right,
get up
we're
to
done.
pee,
We're done.
Sure Katata falls off the base.
yeah, no, I mean,
There's your top 20 is on the screen.
I'm a little surprised that True is not at least with that second chase pack. But maybe he's sort of playing it even a little more conservative than some of those guys.
And if you're we haven't really been seeing the Ben True pack. We don't know how many guys. I mean, you can see from the results how many people are around that area. It's better to not be by yourself and to stick with the group as long as you possibly can in these early miles.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Fauble right now, it's like, all right, he's in 17th place. The predicted finish still being 2:04. They are rolling. I mean, if you're trying to run a conservative race, say, hey, I think I'm ready for a 2:08. You're nowhere close.
I don't know what Fauble's goals are, but if he gets sub 208 today, sub 207, he's out of this world excited.
Yeah,
regardless of the place.
There are going to be so many bodies to pick up that last 10K.
All right, now we're coming into the final turn here. The men's, the first finish of the day.
Another guy, two other guys who are in that third chase pack are Lalisa DeCisa, who's won a couple times but has had kind of a rocky past couple of years, and Sam Chalenga, who is always a wild card, but it'll be interesting to see how he factors in.
All right, Marcel is looks like he's going to smash his record from 2017, his previous record of that 1:18:04.
See, I would just slow down right here.
And not get the record in the bonus?
No, get the record by
Wait,
a
what-
second,
what-
so you
what
can
is
keep
the
knocking
record?
it off.
1:18:04.
Yeah, like you've got plenty of time.
He's got to pull a Mondo and run 118 or a wheel
we got it.
118.03.
He's stoked.
Hit the brakes.
You could have done the Mondo. You could have really appreciated that last quarter mile.
It's like Tokyo Drift at the end.
Now next year is going to be way harder.
And it looks like we are getting some rain, some drizzle and rain at the finish line. It's literally outside our door, but we haven't been outside in like 2
Kipchoge
hours.
might be protecting his ears with the headband.
Yeah.
That's what happened last time it rained for him.
So
Got a little ear infection.
do you think Marcel going as fast as he just did is any indicator of what we're going to see?
I'd
Like
like
it
to.
means weather's good and course is fast.
I mean, 2017, wasn't that the year that Edna won? What was
2017? Yeah.
No.
What was her time?
Oh, now
Is this legal?
we got some guys with selfie sticks on the course right now.
This is why DraftKings wasn't allowed to put odds
I don't love
up.
this.
I will say, Mance is.
I think Mance.
He's not hanging
if
on
you're
for dear
Mance
life.
and, like,
He's
these guys
he's
are
at the front
getting a
right
little
now.
close to Kipchoge. Do you?
Did
They're getting
Kipchoge-
really close.
Did CJ catch up or did they slow down?
They've
They've slowed.
they
quite a
slowed
bit.
down a
Let's
little
see.
bit. Their mile 7 split was 4:52. The mile 8 split was 4:55. But then mile 9 dropped way back down to 4:44. So maybe somewhere in mile 8, CJ was able to catch up in that 4:55 split.
Man, I'm glad they got past those vloggers. Oh no, there's still one of them.
The final vlog.
On
I
the
love that in cycling that they're just completely surrounded by thousands of fans the whole time, and we have 3 fans.
Like, get 'em outta
outside,
here.
And we're like freaking out.
On the women's side, They're really bouncing between the 520 range, 530 as well. And you're seeing on the far right side, Des Linden, just behind this first pack, knows this course better than anyone.
Where's Claus
Her
for
10th
Kipchoge's
Boston
bottles?
Marathon.
What's that? You're not allowed
Has
to have it here.
Kipchoge ever seen Connor Mance? Was that the first time he has ever seen Connor Mance? He looked over to his right and was like, "Who is this?"
No, he follows NCAA Cross very closely every year.
I want to know what Kipchoge thinks of the mustache. That's the real question.
I was
Must
thinking
be
about that the other day. It's like Kipchoge's never had facial hair. I don't think we've ever seen him with like a mustache.
Sus-
or a beard.
Susanna Scaroni. I'm not sure if this is heartbreak or not. They're not giving us a lot of visual
That's
cues
a
there.
choice or not?
The choice.
So as we come up, it seems like any second now we're likely to get
We got
a
him.
women's
Key race
10K key race alert.
Key race alert! Sound the alarm, Mac.
Oh, and I'll let Dana take this one because in the lead of this big evenly spread pack, we got
Lona Sup, Peter, my girl, just leading Amani Bariso with Ababel Yashana in third, Celestine Chepchachir in fourth, Goitam Gebrselassie in fifth, and Emma Bates in sixth right now.
34-46.
Tightly led pack. Everyone basically has the same split. Helen O'Beary also in the I think it's silly sometimes when you're like, Luna Sal Peter got the first split, and you're like, well, there's
yeah, they're all seconds apart. It looks like Tulamuk, Bates, and Hall are all in this lead pack for the Americans, but it's still very, very slow. They're on 226 high pace right now, which for all these sub 218 women is crawling. So it's still a conservative race on the women's side.
I think this pans really well for an Alphine, for an Emma, for a Sarah Hall to have being a little conservative at the start.
I just opened up our Instagram messages, and I like when people share that they're watching along with us. So if you're out there right now in this watch along party, show us your setup, show us how you're watching the race, and tag us on Instagram. We'll be sure to repost it.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends, share the link to this, and subscribe. We've got 1,000 people watching right now. Welcome to everyone. Tell us again where you're tuning in from.
So there are 1,000 people watching the Boston Marathon. How's that
least.
compare to most years?
I think like the
Because I assume if you're watching with us.
yeah. The we're doing very similar numbers to that rocket launch that was supposed to happen earlier this morning.
I wonder.
It didn't launch.
It didn't launch apparently.
No rocket launch today.
Oh man, we got
Susanna
two
Scaroni.
people on a struggle bus here. Oh, everyone is
Well,
struggling.
those could be some men's finishers, but they're looking like they're going.
It looks to me like they are
Yeah, that's Manuela Schar. Or
going.
Susanna Scaroni.
Is that
That's
the Newton Hills
that's
right now?
Susanna Scaroni.
Wow. We got a weather report from
yeah,
our
they're-
photographer out on the finish line bridge, Justin Britton, saying it's much more rainy than I would have guessed.
All right.
So
I'm gonna say so. Scaroni right now is cresting Heartbreak Hill. So she has just finished the 3 to 4 mile climb of going through the Newton Hills. So she literally right this second, as you see the cadence of her wheel pick up, she's now in the downhill, in the final 10K. So that struggle bus hopefully will be alleviated a little bit by heading down past BC in these next couple months.
You head
We have a
down
key
and
race
you.
alert.
Oh, key race.
Key race alert. We got a 15K split for the men. Key race alert. Sound the alarm.
All right, what do we got?
All right, key race alert. Right now, Connor Mance was the first one across the mat for 15K. 43.56, just ahead of Eliud Kipchoge, who also split 43.57. Actually, no, he had a 1 second lead on Kipchoge there at the mat.
Hold on.
Hold the line. CJ Albertson is up there. He's caught back up with them because the pace did sort of slow a little bit, but that lead pack right now, 2:03 pace.
And they have about a minute on the chase pack here. It looks like Choge's fallen off, and then it's Montaña's Mikko Fabel leading that chase pack at 44.56, 44.58 through 15K. There's about 10 guys in that pack, including Chad Hall and Matt McDonald as well. So there's a building gap between the leaders and the chasers, but there's also still a lot of people in both packs.
And to remind people, I guess, of the fastest marathon by an American on this course, 2:04:58 by Ryan Hall here in Boston back in 2011.
If we put Ryan Hall on the course right now, in his current Ryan Hall form, how fast do you think he could run?
2:20. 2:20.
Yeah, he'll do it. He probably runs enough with Sarah, right? Doesn't he still? Or is he
I
always
don't
on
think
the
he
bike?
runs. It seems like he
He's
only
always
lifts.
on the bike. Oh, 2:30. You think slower?
3
than 2:30?
hours. He probably has. Mac, how many pounds of muscle do you think he's?
He cannot run 2:30 right now.
What do you
There's
think?
No shot. He ran a bunch of marathons a couple of years ago. What did he run then? He was running like 3 hours.
No,
I think.
Yes, he was.
that
I
must have been
think.
for charity.
That was
was for
a
charity.
7 and 7, wasn't it?
Seven
He was-
marathons,
Those
seven
are
continents,
marathons. He
7
ran
days.
them.
Yeah, but you're not going to try your hardest if you're doing.
All right, in the chat, how fast do you think Ryan Hall could run a marathon right now?
Someone said 2:26.
Someone said he's been running recently. A couple years ago, he was saying he was staying in shape to pace Sarah. Like this is
Yeah.
like 2 years ago. So
A lot can happen in 2 years, Kyle.
2:45. This is like guessing Kyle's marathon time before New York.
Depends how hot.
who
it
you
is.
got right now, Kyle or Ryan Hall?
I would love to see that
Honestly,
race.
Might be closer than we think.
It would be very close. Yeah. Thinking about like Kipchoge being here and how many people are in the chat hanging out, watching. Do you think like Kipchoge and whatever we paid him for an appearance fee is worth the additional eyeballs? Like how many more people are now watching and paying attention to the Boston
Yeah,
Marathon?
I feel like there's
I
a
think
much
so.
bigger global audience for sure.
Internationally, for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
So do you think for like how many
Millions.
eyeballs? How many?
Well, here's
dollars
my
worth?
thing.
Pays
You
for
know, the
itself
sub
easily.
2, right? Huge investment to get, back in Monza. How many years of marketing dollars that got Kipchoge after the fact? So if he comes here, breaks the course record, you kind of have to think about it like in the future too.
I wonder what his portfolio looks like and how diversified Kipchoge is with all
See
that
some
marketing
eye-bonds
dollars.
in there?
Yeah.
I think we're in a commercial break, but some reports from the media center, there was a move made in the women's race, and that your pick, Amane Bariso, has made a move to kind of break up the lead women's pack.
Wow.
So when
This
we
is
get
her first
back-
time being a favorite
Yeah.
in a marathon.
Is Valencia real?
Is Valencia real? Stay tuned. We will know in 2 hours.
What was her marathon progression?
Oh
Like, it's
wow!
something
It looks like mile
crazy.
7 was 5:08. They went from 5:25s to 5:08 in the course of 1 mile. So
All
that is-
right.
that's
One
a
fast-
move.
We're getting
That's
into
not,
it.
Faster
That's
than my
not a little
PR.
flirty surge.
Pulling up her progression.
The progression is wild. She did run
Chat's
two.
gonna pop off
Yeah,
on this one.
she ran 2:25.
Let's talk about it.
In Mexico City earlier in 2022, and Mexico City at altitude, tougher course than
Not great air
Valencia.
quality.
Definitely a real place.
Yeah.
What do you think her world rank is in the marathon right now?
Carrizo. Oh, it's gonna be like 30th,
13th.
13th. That makes sense because she only has one quick time right now.
Yeah, so
Just-
her
Just one.
marathon debut was 2:20 in Prague back in 2016. Then ran
She ran
2:22 in 2017.
Dubai in
2:28,
2016.
18, 2:24 in 2020, and 2:14 last year.
And she's got some chasers. She's not doing this alone. It looks like Gebrselassie is right behind her. I see Obiri kind of hanging on to the end of that pack. We'll try. It's Yeshna who got second last year, right behind Gebrselassie. So all the major players are marking this move. I think there's an understanding, among the women's elite field, and you do mark, who's sort of making the moves. Like when one of the heavy favorites starts moving, you gotta get on the trainer, or you might be in trouble to compete.
Well, you can see Salpeter there is not with the pack. He's falling back.
Yeah, and you also don't see, as far as I can tell, Marion Gugi and Enda Kiplagat, who are two of the most veteran racers at Boston last year. They, the past couple of years have gotten really good at Boston and New York of pacing themselves, measuring their own individual effort, and then really picking up the pieces as people fall apart in the latter miles of the race. So if you know, if you're someone like Emma or Alafine, and you see, one of them kind of not laying off the gas when this move is made, I think that's a good sign that you're, hopefully going to get the best overall outcome versus being super responsive to these kind of early surges.
Apparently, they showed on the men's side, CJ, and CJ was yawning. He's hanging on in the back of this pack, but he's yawning. Wow.
That's Jeb Kaskai there in the back of the pack still. CJ!
There he is.
There he is.
So
Breathing
they must have
breathing
slowed
hard.
down pretty significantly. Let's see if we can get some.
That's just how CJ runs. He has like pretty dramatic breathing, but that's very normal for him.
Mile 11 was 4:53. Mile 10 was 4:56. So they're fartlicking a little bit. They're not really dialed into an exact pace at any point. It looks like.
Oh. Getting a little love for CJ on the main broadcast.
It was like
A
GoPro
very zoomed in
action.
shot. That's what it was like for me. New York.
In case you didn't know, Chris was doing this in New York.
Make sure you're doing your skincare in the week leading up to the race.
Yeah. Drop the skincare routine. Super goop.
David, how many talents?
CJ, look, I said
they
during the
crossed through?
preview show, I was like, "Oh, tangents. What do you do when the whole field isn't running the tangents?" And CJ kind of was like, "No, it's straight line." Well, look what he's doing.
You got. Looks like CJ is just abandoning what he told us yesterday. He's going to take it a little bit more relaxed than previous years.
I knew he was lying the whole
He's in
time.
front of Kipchoge.
He's trying to get to the front to go kiss some gals in Wellesley.
So what
got
you're
a
about
wife,
to see? Don't tell his wife.
He has a wife and a child.
She's not watching.
She's upstairs.
We thought you were out there.
Yeah. He wins the race, and afterwards she's pissed. She was like, "What was that all about?"
One thing you'll see as they come into Wellesley, trying to talk about the race, Kyle.
I saw you kissing those girls.
So they're coming past.
Congrats on the win. You're still sleeping on the couch.
So they're coming past Wellesley College now. I'm not even.
We have enough money to buy a whole second home for you.
I'm not even gonna say
you
that joke.
pulled.
It just popped into my mind. But, basically once they hit the halfway point, which is in steps, they're getting this big stretch of uninterrupted flat or downhill running. So if somebody does want to sort of really keep the gas down for a while, now is one of the periods where you're not going to get bumped up by the rollers or turns or anything. And if anything, this is probably some of the easiest running because it's pretty steady grade for the next 5K or so. So we just crossed into Wellesley. So mile 12, 13. They're I think coming up on mile 13 now.
This would be the fun part of seeing these surges right here, where it's like if you were allowed to bet on the halfway point winner, like you're just cheering for whoever it is. And it looks like it might be Kipchoge.
Yeah, it's flat. It's this is some of my favorite places in the world to run. You see that's Wellesley High School up on the right. That's their athletic fields. This whole section here is like slightly downhill, and then you get sort of a bigger hill coming down into Newton, but it's some of the easiest running of this course. And so that's where if you do want to get into a rhythm and get going, now is where things get a little more consistent. This is Wellesley Hills here. That's where the men's race is coming in. The women's race, I think, is now just crossing into Natick, I would guess, and Bariso.
We're gonna have
Bill
a
Preston.
key race alert soon. Kipchoge just has his foot on the gas. Oh, there's Connor Mance looking at his watch, checking his heart rate. Probably.
Yeah, he's checking his zone.
On the women's side, for mile 7, they ran that 5:08, and mile 8, they ran a 5:10. Dropped down to an estimated finish of 2:22:05.
Oh, I was worried for a second on the women's side looking at the lead pack. I was like, where's Helen O'Beary? And then
Oh, she's right there.
in like 6th place. She's just stalking.
Is
these
Salpeter's
women.
still
so
in
we're-
there? I couldn't even tell.
20K.
We're getting
Key race
20K.
alert.
Race alert coming up, folks.
Yeah, so you see the
Here we go.
signs, the kiss me signs on the side in the screen tunnel.
CJ, stay strong.
I think like
They seem kind of far away.
90% of that lead pack is married. All right.
Not on
20K
Marathon Monday, Chris.
20K split. Eliud Kipchoge was your leader, 59.01. The projected finish is 2:04.30. Connor Manson there as well. 2:04.32 projected finish time, so he's just a hair off of the leaders.
Kipchoge is used to having this many fans asking him for a kiss, so that he's used to this
all
part of the
noise to
court.
him.
They
Yeah,
do
like-
say when you run through Wellesley, it's so loud you can't
It
even
is.
like hear yourself breathing.
We were talking about this with any second now.
Women's.
probably. We were talking about this
Not yet.
with our friend Brian Schrader, who's run Boston in the elite field before, about sort of what the experience of
man,
that
don't forget
first
the
half
juice.
is. And he said it really does feel like the race starts once you hit Wellesley, because that's when the crowds
Juice
get
box. You
way
got
more
it.
consistent.
I think it's more of a pipette than a juice box. It's a reagent bottle.
I think we should do, rather than tables, we should have drones dropping it from above, like
no,
the Hunger Games.
you know the open water
This one-
swimming they have
that's
in the
when,
Olympics? They have the
Bezos-
fishing pole.
When Bezos is going to sponsor a marathon, it's going to be Amazon drop shipping you your bottles every 5K.
If we put together an AI marathon, had all the best marathoners from all time
I'm
in the
loving
same
this
race.
woman's energy on the side with the. Is that a cowbell she's got? She's loving it.
Yeah, ChatGPT can't run the marathon for you.
Apparently, Drake dropped AI Drake dropped a song yesterday. It's
Really?
250K listens.
This is a huge gap. To the
Oh.
second
Yeah,
half.
it was
This
a
is massive.
minute at
They've
15K. We
committed,
haven't
like,
had the 20K
they've
yet.
committed to a second.
Yeah,
half.
no, we got so Fauble is leading the next pack. They're a minute and 34 seconds back.
So they're
they're-
putting
they're-
on 30 seconds every 5K.
They're
That's-
projected for
that's
2:07,
significant.
49.
We know
That's
who-
right around like what they would be running. That's within their range. I think these 11 bold gentlemen up in the front, like these guys are going to be in a world of pain very soon.
These are the guys who saw themselves winning.
They woke up this morning.
woke
and were just
up.
like, I'm ready to hurt. Just blasting Johnny Cash or 9-inch nails. Like I hurt in the morning.
It is terrifying knowing how much pain you're going to be in.
Women's key race alert. Women's 15K split. Amane Bariso up in the front, 50-47. She's leading a pack of 10 women. So it's Scotty Tom Gebrselassie, Babul Yashane, Celestine Chepchirchir, my pick, Helen O'Beary, Hiwat Gebremariam, Nazareth Weldu, Joycelyn Chepkosgei, Lona Salpeter, and Angela Tanui. Then right behind them, just a couple seconds back, 7 seconds of that lead pack, is Emma Bates.
My pick is sliding back 11 seconds off the lead pack. Not looking good for me.
Nope. Both my picks.
Men's half splits.
Men's half split. Oh, all right. We got a half marathon split of 62:19 for Eliud Kipchoge.
Double it and
That
give it to the next person.
is spicy. Wow.
All right, so what was Mutai, just out of curiosity?
Oh, see, he's getting pissed. I told you guys, he gets annoyed.
Someone touched him?
Yeah, someone clipped him.
You don't touch him.
Do we have the half for the chase pack? Let's see where they're, because it looks like they're still going to be on like 2:08 pace, which maybe I'm playing it the risk averse way, but that's the smarter way to run 2:08 than what these guys are doing.
Mutai was 101.58 back in 11. All right.
All right, here we
Race is gonna
go.
Start here. Kipchoge, it's just might as well keep it fair. If you're him, he doesn't want it to be a 209, 210 tactical. We've now guaranteed.
That's just embarrassing for him.
Yeah,
He can't show up and do that.
He hasn't run 208 since the Olympics. It's like the only 208 he's ever run.
So 203.02 course record from Geoffrey Mutai, 2011.
I'm not feeling it. I don't think.
It would take a heroic effort.
But you know,
There are on
63.59 for Fauble in the chase pack. To me, that's smart running.
like
right
that?
there. I think that is a good sign.
That's what TJ said
Just
that-
came out for the second group.
Yeah.
Yeah, 63.59.
TJ said that he didn't want to run any slower than 64. So if he would have been with that pack, it would have been right there.
in the chat, do you think there'll be a course record today or no?
Edna Kiplagat, Sarah Hall running together.
overall,
I think no course record for the men. Not for the women after that first 10K too.
No, yeah. I was the only one who said no course record for the women. Everyone else was like, yeah, it's up 219. I said no.
Kipchoge.
Turn your mic off.
Probably on the same page here. Kipchoge winning is the best for the sport. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Or the lore of a guy
Mac
getting
is
all-
saying no. Or if Chibet beats him, is that like, well, now we've got the new star?
I like the storyline of Chibet keeping Kipchoge away from winning all of the world majors.
But
And,
also-
like, that being a battle going forward.
That's like
If
when I was
Chibet
rooting
beats him,
against,
then Eliud's coming back next year because he wants all 6. So
well, is it too close to? No, it wouldn't be too close to the Olympics. You could still do it again next year.
I mean, if he wins New York, the last one he'll have would be Boston right before the Olympics. So that would be the logical thing to do. But also, if he gets beaten here, he might say, "Are we allowed to swear?"
Yeah.
As
Fuck
reported,
Boston.
Whoa, we didn't know which swear you were going to use. That was
so John Galt reported that this is the first time that the current world record holder is running the Boston Marathon.
I thought that was like since
That's
19,
not true.
yeah.
Not true?
In like 40 years or something like
On the
that.
men's side.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the first time ever.
No,
There was one.
there
Didn't
was
Haile
in the
Gebrselassie
70s
run
or
it?
something. Yeah.
It was someone in 1950 ran it.
Yeah.
Oh, lies.
British guy.
And I think there was some world bests in there too. Like somebody entered as the world best because
We
their
don't
time
recognize
We
in
don't do
Boston.
world best.
We're world record people.
Yeah, it's certainly in recent memory the heaviest favorite there's ever been going into a Boston Marathon.
So who, as from all like track and field, there's very few track and field and marathoning, very few people who have like elevated to be named household names. You've got Usain Bolt. I think Iliad's almost there. If like you could ask a regular person, they might know who he is.
I keep seeing like tweets from like I don't even know where, like the dregs of like fitness Twitter being like, this guy Eliud Kipchoge is underrated. I'm like, underrated by who? You either know who he is or think he's the greatest, or you don't know who he is. But nobody's like, yeah, he's no big deal. Like,
Underdog Kipchoge.
Yeah, new narrative.
Susanna Scaroni after a pretty tough race.
yeah, she's got about a little more than 1K to go. She's about to make that famous right hand turn onto Hereford Street. So she is almost done, but man, it really, that rain does seem to have become a factor out there, particularly in the eastern sections of this course.
Pretty far off the course record in 2017 at 1:28.17. But I think she's just going to be grateful to get another world
She's grateful
major.
her wheels stayed on.
She's going to be grateful to be done with this one, which is often how a lot of people feel after a marathon. Happy that it's over.
And it does speak to how dominant an athlete she is, that she's had these, troubles and running way off her personal best on this course. And she still, has a 3-minute gap on second place. And we talk about dominance in the sport. That's really impressive.
I wish we had some split screen right now.
We should go out and steal some John Hancock signs after this.
She's on Boyle Street now. So one thing.
Oh, next year.
There's going to be a collector's item.
Yeah, we're switching from John Hancock to Bank of America.
One thing I'm going to see if we can get a wide angle on is if there's any flags or anything on the course right now, because she's going straight into the headwind. and you know.
Oh, I thought you meant like
Yeah,
a
I was very
disqualifier. Take her out.
No. I just want to know how actually strong the wind is right now. Like these banners don't seem like they're blowing that much, so I would suspect that probably it's still pretty minimal at this point, and the rain would be the only real factor. But as of at least in terms of the direction, she's going into the headwind right now. But it doesn't look like it's too crazy or anything.
So many people out on Boylston.
Do we have any new splits while they're?
Any key race alerts? No, not nothing yet.
Well, the
I'm
key race
hearing-
alert is that
Yeah,
Scaroni's about to
course.
win the Boston Marathon for third time, something like that.
I'm really excited to see what her emotion is when she finishes.
This is her first.
Might be.
A lot of people mentioned us in their stories after I put the call out. We'll
Oh, she
repost
got
those in a
she got
second.
second in 2022, so she's upgraded.
Here she goes, little fist pump.
Feel bad for the sweet green right behind like all the awning. Like no one can watch the race from inside there. It's like Cava's your last resort if you want to get some food and catch the finish.
You're getting the inside of how Chris's brain works
Yeah.
when watching a marathon.
Who's getting the most advertising out of?
Suzanne
Well, they're getting
Scaroni
paid for it.
was actually at the Falmouth Mile, doubled back, did the Falmouth Road Race
Yeah.
as well. So a lot of
London.
she's pretty perennial on the marathon circuit.
Is she doing London? Do we know?
I don't know.
It does look like as after those quick couple miles, there was a burst of speed at 5K at 10K, 508, 510, 509, but they're actually back to 530, 527 in miles 10 and 11 in the women's race. So I wouldn't be surprised if once we cut back to them, they've bunched back up a little bit.
Oh, we're back to the
New hair.
pro race.
Looks like CJ's getting dropped off the back a little bit there. Checking his watch, maybe he's kind of making the calculated pace that move that the pace is a little hot and he wants to be standing
Man,
at
you
the
can
finish
see
line.
the water.
Yeah, it
the
is
rain.
full
Yeah,
of
it's
rain.
rainier than we were expecting.
We
and-
need a better weather report out here. Where's Johnny Zhang on the course?
Johnny's out there somewhere.
Someone text him. But certainly, you know, I will say that I said in the preview, you know, if Elliott loses this race, it might be the weather that defeats him. This is not his preferred racing conditions. So we'll see sort of.
He's had some drizzly Berlin marathons in the past. I believe 2017, because I was in that race, but it maybe started raining after he crossed the finish line and I was still out there. But I think this is fine. This is Rio Olympics was also a little rainy.
Let's talk a little bit more about Connor Mance. Like, what do you think's going through his head right now? Like, he's prepared for this, and he's
went
with
out
the best
hot.
marathoners in the world.
He went out hot in Chicago and, you know, despite running 208, was disappointed afterwards. But now he's been in this place before.
Here we go.
A little more familiar.
Is that Chabet?
Oh yeah.
We're
Evans
seeing
Chabet.
We got a move being made.
Kipruto's now alongside with him. He's sitting back.
So in 2022, Belay, who is the guy with the
We
long
haven't been
white
talking
singlet,
about him.
He won the Lisbon Marathon and the Ottawa Marathon, but this is his world major debut. So this is the biggest stage that he's competed on. But he's a winning kind of guy, and it looks like he's pretty relaxed, pretty comfortable. Maybe a little chilly based on his headwear, but he could be a guy that, you know, once he pops onto this next level, ends up, you know, being a real major factor. And it looks actually right now like for the first time he's in the lead. You know, maybe pushing a little bit.
I think he's won 8 marathons in his career.
Does Evans Chabet bib say Evans and not Chabet?
Yeah, I think when you're a winner, you get first name status here at the Boston Marathon.
Yeah,
Des
That's
Linden.
so cool.
Benson says Benson.
I was wondering if there was another Chabet, but
So
if you're a winner, you get your first name.
Yeah.
In the women's race, it looks like Salpeter's back up there with the leaders. There's
There's hope yet.
two lines of women, but it looks like they're back up to, you know, maybe 9 or 10 people in that lead pack.
And
That's
Emma Bates is caught up to them, which is
yeah, those couple slow miles I think really bunch things back up.
I'm really excited to see what the women's half split. We're not quite there yet,
Did we do
but
women's 15K yet?
key race alert.
no, we missed that a while ago.
Oh,
Yeah, we can at least talk about sort of what we're seeing. A little
No, wait,
after.
I did do the key race
okay.
there for that. Yeah.
It looks like at least a couple miles ago, the gap was about a minute from the lead pack to the chase pack. Sorry, not a minute, about 15 seconds. And now they've caught back up, and we'll see sort of how folks handle back in. One thing to keep an eye on, there's this big chaser pack that includes Viola Cheptu, who got second in New York, Mary Ngugi, Edna Kiplagat, Sarah Hall, and Nell Rojas are in that pack. And like I said earlier, if they're keying off kind of the more experienced racers in the race, those are the names to watch for sure.
This and
Apparently
then
we missed a
running.
move.
Oh, we missed the move again.
Apparently we've missed a move. Yeah. It sounds like reports from the media center that Gabriel Gay and Kipchoge have pushed the pace downhill, and they're breaking away. Connor Mance, Albert Kabir, and Zuhair Talbi are hurting a little bit after that move.
It's like they know when we're going to commercial.
Yeah.
This was orchestrated.
Maybe Kipchoge has like a little AirPod underneath that.
They're like, go, go, go. We're
go.
on
Do it now.
Yeah, so they just crossed mile 15, so this is like the most downhill part of the early racing. So they're probably coming from Wellesley into Newton right now and hitting that. Yeah, here we go. Right, 15. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
here we go.
Right around here. Yeah. This is my hood. This is my neighborhood. So that's
Kipchoge has ditched the
ditch the hat.
headband.
The hat is off, baby.
Oh,
And yeah,
he
we
got his bottle.
Mance
Athlete.
is out the back with Talby.
Mance and Talby working together just to get to the finish line at this point is, I think they'll help each other out back there.
Salpeter would look like she was making a big move on the inside as well.
That's my mechanic. Shout out Daily Service Center. They've just crossed over the Charles River into Newton. So they are about to hit mile 16, coming up in about 400 meters. This is where there's a little uphill as you cross over the river. Sorry, not the river, the highway. And then you spit back down past Newton Wellesley Hospital, and then you're climbing.
We are down
4
to
miles.
6 men
All the people that we thought would be in it
are in it.
are in it.
So do we think there's going to be a move here on the hill? Up the hill on the
Heartbreak,
other side?
right? That is where
Yeah,
it's
so
typically
they're
made.
coming across the highway right now, and there's kind of like a sneaky uphill in this next mile. It looks like, right now, just Kipchoge is in cruise control, but it's possible
Wait,
to.
he just drank that. It looks so cool.
Okay, Chris
doesn't
is now
miss a
in full
bottle.
fanboy mode. But yeah, it's dang, it's raining. That's for sure.
He doesn't get to bring his bike,
Gabriel Gay is a big
bike
fella.
drink.
Yeah, he's tall.
Morton holder, right?
No.
Kipchoge, none of that in this race.
So we can see Mance is now in front of Talby, trying to reattach himself by the looks of it, but that's a dangerous place to be for sure. We should get, let's see. Oh man, coming down that hit again. Keep in mind, big hill, 423 downhill mile down that.
Wow. 25K split was Gabriel Gay up in the front with Kipchoge at 1 hour and 14 minutes. Their projected finish is 2:05, and then that lead pack of people was 6 deep, but then Zuhair Talbi and Connor Mance right after them, 4 seconds back. The other interesting, I think
So
the
they
last 5K was 15:03.
yeah. So that's not crazy fast, but it looks
Sounds
like
crazy fast to Chris.
That's crazy fast to me.
That's what, like 208 pace. Like it's not
That's like
that's not a sustained
15 flat is 452 pace,
yeah.
I believe.
Did you see what I
448.
texted you?
448, 448.
Can you show that?
So the they're not doing a sustained move, but they're definitely pressing a little bit in this last mile and a half.
Let's get back to the women's race. I need to see what has happened here.
17 things have happened in the last 10 minutes since we've seen the women racing, but
Yeah, this coverage split on the women's side. I'm a little disappointed right now.
Yeah, and
we haven't seen. If Amani Barriso makes a huge move and we miss that one as well, I'll be bumped.
I think they packed back up from the looks of the pace. They're running 5:20s right now. It looks like they are. Let's see. Yeah, so they're now coming down the hill past the Newton Firehouse, or coming up to the Newton Firehouse in the men's race. So they're about to start the Newton Hills in the next half mile or so. So that's when we could really start seeing some casualties at this quick early pace.
We just got our women's 20K split in. Amani Barriso still leading up front with Helen Obiri right behind, Angela Tanui, Lona Salpeter, my girl, back in there. And all the way down, Emma Bates is in that top 10 as well. A huge group of 11 women running together on 2:22.58 predicted pace. And then 25 seconds back, we have another pack that has Alphine Tulamak, Mary Nagui, Sarah Naguji, and Sarah Hall, and Nell Rojas is
actually,
the next group. Oh, it breaks off. Sarah Hall's in the third group.
Sarah Hall's in the third pack, about 50 seconds back of the leaders, which isn't a huge gap. There's this 20-second back pack in the middle. That, as I was mentioning earlier, includes Viola Cheptu and Marion Gugi, who are two people that I would not be surprised, pace this right and are going to start picking off the stragglers.
Well, looks like Connor Mance has been dropped. I'm not sure if I missed this when I stepped out, but
he's kind of been running the same gap behind them this whole time, actually,
Okay.
which is interesting because I think
Not dead yet.
look at these Morton banners on the side here. They actually give out Morton on the course.
Yeah,
Gels.
official sponsor of the race.
Yeah, one thing that's great to see is that Mance that gap isn't like exploding, widening super fast. So if these guys hit the brakes for only half a mile or so, he could very well be right back in it before long. And we are finally seeing what looks like Salpeter being the one to kind of keep the pace honest. Angela Tanui as well. There's definitely most of the major players still in here. I'm trying to see if I can get Obiri's in there.
Jocelyn
Jepkowski's in
Jepkowski.
there. Jepkowski's in there. And yeah, Emma Bates
Ewat.
hanging tough.
Gemma Merriman.
Gloves
are
alert.
coming off.
He can't get them off.
Struggling.
Oh no.
Maybe he
There
shouldn't
we
take them
go.
off.
Oh, very casual
That was
toss.
cool too.
Oh,
The-
ice cold.
His water bottle toss is really good.
John Creer's losing coming the off.
Oh,
hat. Somebody grab those gloves.
the way he dropped it was right next to them. That was like a
I
banana
was
peel
gonna
in
say,
Mario
somebody,
Kart.
somebody grab those and
Folks, we're
sell
seeing
them.
some stripping happening right now.
I'm keeping an eye on the gloves to see if anybody goes on the course and picks them up.
What if
'cause-
Connor Mance just picks them up?
Oh yeah, one of the volunteers right there. See, she's gonna make a mint on eBay.
Oh, just stay split screen.
So yeah, we got Tanui. Well, you didn't see because they cut away. Maybe some of these women got a kiss in the Wellesley College Scream Tunnel. We could, be equal opportunity here.
I'm just glad they're back to this race.
And
This
yeah,
is an
you can
interesting
see-
angle. Look at that stride.
I'm pumped to see that Emma got back into that pack.
Yeah, I mean, hey, she was talking the other day about feeling like a 2:18, 2:19 marathoner. She's running like one too because everybody around her has a personal best that's probably 4 or 5 minutes faster than hers.
I just love the eruption of Twitter when an American is still in the lead pack with like the final 10K.
Helen Obiri stalking them. She's in.
I don't think
Helen Obiri's right there in the middle.
that looks like stalking to you.
Yeah,
That's what she always runs like.
hiding.
It looks like we haven't gone a halfway split from them yet, have we?
Coming up shortly.
Oh, here we go.
We're doing Q race alert.
1:11:29 at halfway.
Race alert.
11 women in the hunt, and then 24 seconds back is that chase pack of 4 or 5 women there. So this is still very much, it sometimes can be misleading when you don't see the chase pack the entire time, but they are not far back. You can see them now coming around this turn. That's far from an insurmountable gap this early in the race.
17th mile for the men was 5:10 after they after they had just gone 4:23 before that.
It was 4:20.
Yeah, that was the one that broke
Oh my
a lot of
god.
those people.
Gloves are coming off.
Here we go. So
On the
this
women's
is
side,
what hill is this?
men's side, who is that?
That's coming up.
Hat's back on.
This is the
Blake, put
first
hat
of the
back on.
Newton Hills. So this is they
That's Guillet.
just skirted down. We're getting a little
Yeah, we have
elevation
that
on the
too.
screen.
Or, like here, right, David?
Yes, yeah, they're coming up that first little bump there. From the looks of it, they're probably about to hit mile 19, I would guess.
This feels like the most company Kipchoge's had in a race this late
Hey, what do you know? We have
In-
the same graphic up.
in like recent races. Like he usually at this point has started to break everybody and run away with it.
Well, because this race, we're not setting up for Kipchoge to have an easy win.
No.
Not to accuse any other race of having done that in the past, but I think this one is a very real field.
I
And
like
if he
being able
wins
to
to Boston, it is not because they are handing it to him.
I like being able to still see Connor Mance on the screen. I think that's a win.
Yeah. All right, so the two teammates are still in it. Chabet and Career. Kipruto. But there is a Career in there.
I love that Albert is still in that.
Yeah. Slept on. Wow. I like seeing just like the number of people who have turned out onto the course so far for this in the rain.
All right.
This camera's a little
Little
foggy.
but I like this angle in marathons so you can really see their cadence occasionally.
Get some appreciation for just how fast they're running.
Or how smooth. Look at them. They're in sync in the
Although
front.
this does not look that quick anymore compared to what we saw a mile ago.
That mile 17, 5:10 after a 4:23 is crazy.
35K is kind of traditionally the last couple of years been where we've really seen things open up. It's what we saw out of Chabet last year.
All right, they just did a 5 flat mile from that 5:10 for mile 18.
Really? Wow.
They're moving now. I think when the gloves came off, the gloves came off, and Eliud I think has
So true.
sensed that maybe some of these guys behind him are feeling it a little bit. He looks the same that he always looks, and as they come through these hills, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of start seeing some guys start to struggle.
David, what do we know about Ndolumbele? Who's up in here in this pack?
We talked about him a little bit ago. He's the guy who's won a bunch of kind of minor marathons, but this is his world marathon major debut. So with a guy like that who clearly has shown he could win, you never know what's going to happen when he gets to that next level. But what usually happens is you mess around and you find out.
Mess around? Find out.
Wow. I wonder if they'll cut away from the Boston Marathon for the Eagles and Jalen Hurts reaching a 5-year agreement, $255 million. I could see that happening.
Hope they don't. John Courier there.
It's pretty split right now
Very
between
much in it.
Team half tights and team shorts. Actually, I think a half tights has the.
I would have gone half tights today.
Bele's jersey is very, very long. He doesn't even look like he's wearing pants.
He has remarkably short legs. That was the problem.
Short legs. I'm definitely team arm sleeves in conditions like this, though.
I'm always arm sleeves. Like, it's just because like if you're chilly, you wear them up. If you get warm, you roll them down.
So John Courier, third in Chicago, behind Benson Kipruto. Some familiarity there. Had a key off him.
Who's gonna be the top boulderite right now is really interesting on the women's side between Emma and Helen O'Beary.
Which kid is
Kazgai's an Adidas kit. She's the one in pink on the.
she in the back right?
She has red dye in her hair. I
He's like
believe.
third back on the right.
Okay. Yeah. She's been there the entire race.
Yeah.
hiding, stalking.
Jipkaz guys in there.
Yeah, she's the one who she has a very upright stride. She's Adidas, right?
Yeah. This is kind of going exactly as well as we could have hoped, huh?
Yeah. I think it's setting up for really thrilling final 10Ks.
If we had live odds right now, is there anyone that you think would be the best bet outside of?
I think if you would
the
have bet
obvious?
career at the very beginning of the race, you were very happy right now with how he looks.
What do you think Emma Bates' odds would have been to win?
They would have been high, but until the press conference, and then I think today she's proven she
So-
is a contender.
We can see in this shot here, Manson and
Talby.
Talby are falling back, but they're not out of this for sure. And you know what? So that means Manson's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place right now. You know, eighth in the Boston Marathon. That's a pretty good second effort for sure.
How far back is that?
Wow, wild.
Wow, that was a
Two-handed.
two-handed snatch.
They were on the opposite side of the road.
Did Kipchoge miss a bottle?
Yeah,
He
Eliud
just,
missed his. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Missed bottle by Kipchoge.
He fully missed it.
Yeah.
Will anyone offer?
No.
No, you don't offer that.
Not this late in the game.
But he's
He might have the last
a Morton
table-
guy.
He might have the last table's opportunity to snatch.
he
an
doesn't look
emergency
like he's
drink.
trying
He's
to.
not in the right spot for it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There's just water at the end.
Yeah. Guy just took a water bottle. Oh man. Just bite the top off the water bottle. That's a baller move for sure.
I mean, why do they even have tops?
What time do they start the military guys?
6 a.m. Yeah.
They walk the
Hey,
whole thing.
203 flat saying, I'll show you where Valencia is. It's in Spain.
Kyle's been working on that for an hour and 30 minutes.
I love the idea that in your mind, like the Valencia organizers are like feeling disrespected by this live chat right now.
Well, it's a challenge to them that they have to have CITIUS MAG out at some
really a
point,
call to
just
action
to confirm
here.
how real it is.
So this is the biggest gap we've seen on
were
Eliud
big
at any
3 hours.
point. You know, this is a
a significant move.
He missed the bottle.
Kipchoge missed a bottle, and
and it's rare that he's been this far away from the lead of a race. Like even if somebody else is leading, he'll be right on his shoulder.
Does Kipchoge go for these one? He's not even going for a water cup.
Gay looked back and was like, do I definitely want to do this?
Wait. If anyone in the chat can confirm if it's gay or gay, that would be helpful.
It's gay according to the media guide.
It's gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
30K splits. Key race alert. Key race alert.
I just wanted this last mile.
All right, key race alert. We got right before this big move by Gabriel Gay was made. Eliud Kipchoge was your guy there, 129.
Wait, Kipchoge is getting dropped.
Yes, he's getting dropped.
Bunch of guys.
Missed one
It's
bottle.
a group of 7 that we have up in the front, and now Kipchoge is looking like he's in 5th or 6th place.
He's running hard. And you know who
Evan Chibet making a move up this hill.
Yeah,
Trying to
Chabet and Kipruto
Kate
are
Bush.
marking this move, and they're the ones driving the chase of this burst of energy by Gay. Although I will say, Gay, I don't know if it's because they're running uphill right now, but it does look like he's slowed a little bit. But Eliud is now in 8th place right now. That's got to be the farthest back he's ever been.
Matt
since
clapping
London.
it up like it's
Yes,
Seventh
this is what
place.
We want the drama.
The gloves
wanted to
come
see.
off for
Let's go,
gay.
baby.
Is Kipchoge getting dropped bad for the sport?
Yes.
so. It's sort of like it's like, it feels like. I mean, it's easy to root against the Patriots, but when they were on that perfect season, like everyone was rooting for the Giants, unless you're a Patriots fan, and it's sort of like here you're kind of rooting against history being made with Kipchoge trying to win all 6.
I want it to be a
but,
battle for 2, though. Like, I don't want him to get dropped now.
he's not getting dropped. Look at that. He's coming right back now.
He maybe knows how hard of a move that was, and it wasn't real.
What's the split on that? Last mile.
They're running uphill, so it's hard to say. 19 was 451. Wow.
I'm not
this
ready
is-
to say that Kipchoge was dropped.
It's early. They have 10K to go, and
It's not a permanent drop yet.
No, but maybe by the time we get back from this commercial, which they just cut away from the race.
Who was that guy that said I had the worst picks in the world?
The whole comment
And you
section,
too.
Mac.
Yeah, everyone hated
Mine's
our.
a little bit closer than what's happening right now.
I just can't believe that they just cut away.
So, you know, in the Super Bowl, when there's a lot of commercials
Yeah.
with the quarterback, what do they say about that? Like
fire off a 30K update on Twitter.
that it's
Yeah,
not
Can.
it's not good when you're in a lot of commercials. Like we've seen so many Iliad commercials, Kipchoge commercials. Do you think that's bad? Jinxing him?
Oh, like the Madden cover almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, but I know whoever is paying for this commercial right now, I'm boycotting.
CrowdStrike.
We're out on
You're
crowd.
done, CrowdStrike.
You're in this commercial break, and unless you're like, yeah,
You're keeping us away.
They probably don't even know they're a commercial for the Boston Marathon.
I don't even know what CrowdStrike is selling after watching that commercial.
It's also funny
Gabriel Gay's
because
odds to win were plus 1100. Wow.
Mac, I do appreciate your openness of rooting against Kipchoge. I think it's one of the bravest things you've ever done.
One of the bravest things I've ever done.
Is
I just think it's good for racing. It's good for storytelling. It's very open that Kipchoge's trying to win all the majors, and I think it's a good thing that there's people good enough to beat him.
and he's gonna have
It's
to
a
come back
story.
to Boston.
Yeah, he's either. This is huge. Like
I have to come
maybe he
back
should have run it
here.
earlier in his career so he could have a few more
I
shots.
want-
but now
I
he's
want-
near the end of his career, and it's going to be harder to do.
I think the right person has to beat him.
Yeah, I
for the
can't-
storyline,
I don't
like-
want it to be like just a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, like a Chavez or Kipruto. Like now
That's good.
that's our new king.
The time has really
Baby.
slid back. The estimated finish of 2:05:35, mile 19 being a 4:51.
I hope this.
Yeah, I mean they're
Mile.
running uphill, so that's what we would expect to see. I mean, I think what will really kind of be the decider in terms of how fast this ends up being is what happens coming down from mile 20.
Kipchoge in the rain, man. Like it's crazy.
Whose graphics are better?
Definitely ours. I will say so.
This one's a little slower.
Gay got 4th last year. He got 7th at Worlds. I would say that he's got that Valencia runner-up finish, but he's not a guy that anyone would call a favorite. He doesn't
Yeah.
have that sort of that resume.
no, this is not.
Oh,
good.
this is interesting.
All right, I'm just gonna say that
Evan's
They're
doing
looking
a
back.
big look back.
Key race alert.
the coverage of the women's side has been terrible
I think
compared to
Valet-
that. So
Valet
much
is
more
the
men's
slept-on
coverage.
guy in this field, like he's won 8 of his last 10 marathons.
Yeah.
Like
Kipchoge's 100 meters back. Wow.
this is incredible.
Just mentally regrouping. Split screen. No, split screen to the women's race. I don't need a Kipchoge cam.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
No, we don't.
We can have both.
Then put 3 on.
We've
This is
seen
why
as much
this
as
is
5.
why they need to hire Mac.
We know they can do more.
Man,
Wow, this is quite
there's a little
something.
confetti there for the leaders. Okay, so he's gonna catch Albert Career. So then that's who's that that he's about to catch? I think it's Albert Career.
So Kipchoge said he changed nothing about his training.
Maybe he should have come
For
and scouted
Boston?
the course.
Should have pulled a Hansen's, come through.
Chris, we're live. We can't edit things.
Uninvited to Kenya.
I think he needs stickier bottles, is what we're finding out. He missed that one bottle and everything went downhill.
Yeah, you need your bottles.
Fueling is everything.
Someone must have noticed up in that lead pack that he missed the bottle, and it's like that's our cue. That's our time to go.
Please have a split screen of the women's race.
He's not looking comfortable running up this hill.
The Kipchoge split screen is absolutely killing me right
He's
now.
out of the picture.
That's
It's now-
more impactful than seeing him running by himself. To see that he's out of the frame.
That was like the
And
2020 marathon trials. They had the
I gotta say,
key
so-
athletes to watch.
Yeah.
and they were in like 45th place or 60th place or DNFing and just occupying half the
Well,
screen. for the whole time.
while we're looking at Eliud, Chabet is making a move. Gay has dropped back to 5th. Chabet's looking at Benson Kipruto like, are we going now? Like, what's the deal? And he looks like, if anything, he's waiting around for his teammates. So we could be in for something truly special.
Oh my God, the chat.
Comment
CJ,
section. Yeah, comment
might
section
outkick
reminded us
Kipchoge.
that
We were not prepared.
CJ visualizing outkipping Kipchoge on Boylston Street might just not be for the win. It will be for 8th place.
Like 11.
So with 25-ish minutes left,
I need to know
the
the
chat
gas
is starting to
the rest
pop
of-
off.
1,300 people
So all right,
watching.
so at 20 miles, CJ
Be sure to subscribe.
Did we do 25Ks for women?
He's 2 minutes back of
we get that split?
Kipchoge. Let's see what
It's okay. ESPN just doesn't care. They don't want to put them on the screen.
at 25K. It's 124.39 for the women leaders. There are 11 women still in the pack with Gugi and Shep to 26 seconds back. Alafina's with them. It looks like Sarah Hall, Nell Rojas, and Des are running together. Sarah Hall and Nell Rojas are running together, and Des is in the next pack after that. They're in 17th, 18th, so they're well positioned to move up through the field. But right now, all the
Evans is
favorites,
going hard.
there we go. Here we go.
Here we go. We're back.
All the favorites. are in
Lona
the women's race.
Salpeter.
Evans is
Doing
doing
the
his
work.
best Evans Chabet impression. He's basically doing the same thing he did last year. So these guys can't act like they weren't expecting this.
I'm going to remind everyone why I'm rooting for Alona so much on the women's side. Bronze at Worlds, second in New York. Mac is going absolutely insane over Evans
was
Chabet.
so high on like Kipchoge's invincible.
Mac, you need to
He'll
flip the
never-
camera to yourself so
Evans
everyone can
Chabet,
see this.
Baby, he's doing it. Check my Twitter. There's receipts.
They said he got married. Could he still be the runner that he once was? Yes.
And over in this women's race, Emma is like been up, not just hanging on to the pack. She's out front right now, and she hasn't gapped anyone, but she's not like barely hanging on, trying to kick it with these women. She is setting the tone of this race right now.
This is the beginning.
Mac,
Like,
you're sharing our YouTube stats.
Wow, and Chabet just rolling like he has a very compact form. It's not necessarily a very smooth.
his training partner's
Doesn't
not out of it
move
too.
a lot.
They might look to try and go 1-2.
Yeah, this
Across the finish
is
line.
a big move
Yeah,
from
although
Evans, but it is a
although-
long way out.
Kipruto's looks the worst of the guys chasing him. Belay's getting dropped now. Gay it looks like he's getting dropped, but now he's back into second, third place. This will be very.
This is going to be a sub 14 5K split, just based off of how fast it looks like they're running.
Well, that's exactly what he did last year.
Yeah.
And so,
He's doing it again.
so
Doing it
John
again.
Career, who we've talked very little about, he's the two-time LA marathon champion. He got third in Chicago last year. Pretty short resume, but he is the younger brother of 2012 Boston champion Wesley Career. So maybe he was getting. Oh,
Kipchoge?
540
just ran a
mile?
537 mile.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
What was in that bottle?
Do we see a
I've never.
Do that now.
do we see a 6-minute mile?
Live bet that.
Has he ever run a 6-minute mile in a
6-minute
race?
mile, or does he just
I was gonna say I think it's more likely DNS.
Guys, I think it's my jinx.
What did you do?
I always.
You pick
I'm
Kipchoge.
just a really bad
You and
picker.
everyone else. This is not a good course to drop out on either. Like you still gotta.
Do you think he goes to the med
gotta
tent?
find
Like, what does he
someone
do?
to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to the nearest med tent. They have vans that come get you. But
This is such a good race.
Ooh, Benson's in it.
Yeah.
He sees.
yeah,
His boy.
He looks the least relaxed, but he's been back up into.
Cam.
Stop. Go to the women's race. If you're gonna
That's Talby about to catch.
This is. I'm losing my mind. This is insane. The Kipchoge here
Where's
has
Mance?
to end.
Has Mance dropped?
No one wants to see Kipchoge running a 6-minute mile. It's too depressing.
Yeah, I want to
do.
see the women's race and Kipchoge run a 6-minute mile.
So
You can have
so
both.
boom, it's right there.
Look at that little blue spot right there.
So
Ready
Mance
for the
is
taking.
now 20. 18 seconds behind Kipchoge. Talby is only 5 seconds behind him. Talby's about to catch him. That's Mance, I guess, in the distance there. You can see it a little bit. Yeah, and Mance is now in 9th place.
If Kipchoge DNS, I'm still calling CJ broke him.
What is Chavez doing? Chavez just swung way wide coming up Beacon Street there. I don't know why he's weaving like that.
I think he's
trying to figure out where everybody is.
I think he's trying to regroup.
All right, we have a women's 25K split.
But first, bigger key race alert.
no, they're on
Mac,
comms
key
still.
race alert from the press zone. Eliud Kipchoge may have dropped out. Oh wait, no, he didn't.
You're watching him drop out.
John Galt said Eliud Kipchoge may have dropped out on the ESPN broadcast, but it's not true.
He just checked his watch. Do you think he's checking his heart rate?
That's two correct tweets from
Sorry,
John Galt today.
If he can just get to this next set of bottles, maybe he'll have
misinformation
a
making it onto
All
our
right, we've got the
election
women's
night
field.
stream.
Emma Bates.
Emma Bates.
Doing her own thing.
Yeah, so they're coming through
They just finished 25K.
25K. So they're coming up on the Newton Hills, I think. No.
Yeah. They're
What mile are they at?
the pro women just went through mile 17.
Okay, so they're coming down that it looks like they're coming up on the firehouse here and they're about to make the turn onto Comm Ave to take on the Newton Hills.
mile 16. They
So
ran a
this is where that
5:14.
race starts and you know, we focused on the men's race being, you know, packed up until basically this part of the race. There are 11 women in this race and it is going to get very interesting over the next 3 miles because somebody is going to make a move on the Newton Hills and we'll see whose facade starts to crack.
All right, mile 16, 5:14 for the women. Mile 17, 5:45. This pace is going up and down and up and down.
Just like the Newton Hills.
So at 35K, Kipchoge is now over a minute off the leaders. From 30 to 35K, he ran. Let's see.
What was Chibet, 30 to 35K?
We got a
Chabet 30 to 35 was 29, a little under 15, so nothing crazy. And Kipchoge ran, I think, over, am I reading this right? 16:10 from 30 to 35K.
So the comment we got was, how far does Kipchoge have to run to get his appearance fee?
Oh. I think they paid that in cash before.
No. When Galen's been here, you've seen him have really bad days and go for
might have been
it.
I think there's some different rules going on.
I think there are different rules as well, but there's definitely something to finishing, getting to the... I don't know how the John Hancock field works.
Finishing medal, he's gonna make it to that finish line.
Yeah.
That's what matters the most.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll BQ.
It's a good medal.
He just needs to get the BQ so he can come back next year.
Well, he could Masters BQ.
Oh yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. What age group is he's not in?
What's his age group? 38 years old?
Yeah, 38.
Sorry.
39.
Every minute that passes of Emma Bates in the lead and her being in contention, her Instagram following is going to be blowing up.
Okay, so
she's becoming a bigger name to the general
this is
public.
interesting.
I mean,
The longer and
Bobble
longer
at 21
she's
miles.
on.
for a great
Wait, shut up,
26
Kyle. This is important.
Wait, you have something important to say?
Bobble at 21 miles was 4 seconds back of CJ, and he's now in 11th place.
Fobble. Knows this
He's
course
there
better
are
than anyone.
1, 2, 3, 4 guys with him: McDonald, Montañez, and Hassan Chadi. They've dropped Miko, but Bobble, McDonald, and Montañez are the 3rd, 4th, 5th Americans right now, but they're closing on CJ, and they are still a little over a minute back of Mance, but it looks like the guys who ran smart are starting to make their moves through the crowd.
If you're Kipchoge, do you
All right,
drop out and recycle this for London next week?
Now we've got the Kipchoge cam. None of the men's leaders, none of the women's leaders, just Kipchoge.
So this is Cleveland Circle here that they're coming through. They take the turn onto Beacon Street, and then they have about 3.5 miles left.
Do you think
Unless he somehow got them, this is kind of pointless at this point.
they planned their entire coverage over him winning and had no backup plans? That's what I'm getting off this.
And so this stretch right here, I think, is a sneaky, brutal part of the course because what happens is you come down. That's Mance in the background. Mance is going to catch him. You come down the Newton Hills for like 2 miles, and you're running straight downhill. And then this stretch right here is the slightest bit uphill. And if your legs are already toast, that feels like a mountain. So as these guys come through this with 2.5, 3 miles left, the guys that are already hurting are the damage is just going to compound.
Mance is like running him down like he's who was it? Wesley Kiptoo?
Yeah.
NCAA cross.
Hey, so if Chibet wins this right now, he's only ranked 13th in the world. Is he the Olympic favorite?
I say yes. I mean, we put up the graphic last year where that people kind of hated on, that it was like who was the better marathoner.
Yeah, we got a lot of slack for that.
Yeah, we got a lot of slack for saying, all right, who had the better year?
Going to settle
winning
all
Tokyo
our old beefs.
and
Yeah.
Kipchoge winning Tokyo and Berlin, and then Chibet winning New York and Boston.
Said, which year would you rather have?
And people were like, oh, Kipchoge broke the world record. It's like, all right.
If they don't take him off this TV screen, I need him to drop out now. Like, I'm getting so irritated. I can't handle this.
ESPN
Chibet
knows what
is
the people
not
want.
getting away here, and I think he's trying to.
Gay,
he's
I
looked
mean,
back
was
a bunch of times, and Gay, has kind of looked up and down throughout this course, but he hasn't really lost that attachment.
That's the second time Chibet has tried to move away from the front and hasn't gotten away, and so he's trying to regroup again. I don't know if he can do that again.
Kipchoge is looking over at the C line thinking, like, can I just get on and get to the finish that way?
All right, Gay just took the lead. Here we go. Chibet now sitting in, looking at his back on this downhill. Gay immediately is like, was that enough? Is he trying to come with me?
Yeah, so you can see there, they just hit mile 23. So let's find out what that split was.
The women
23 was
5K to
445,
go.
437 coming down the hill at 22.
women stayed consistent. Mile 18 running 5:37 somewhere.
This is a fast mile here.
There's a medical tent. Feel free.
So Mance is in 8th, I think. He's now in 8th. His predicted finish is still 2:07, so Mance is on track to
He's
set
holding
a
on. I mean,
personal best.
the other Americans are definitely going to be coming for him, but
I'm gonna start a timer since lost the women's field. Let's get this going.
well, the nice thing is that the women started after, and so we will get.
But this is the most these Newton Hills. That was when the men's race broke open, and we're not seeing at all what's happening in the women's race. And the splits won't necessarily tell us because they don't get crazy fast because they're running uphill. Gay and Evans Chibet are like basically bumping elbows at this point.
Do you think Kipruto's definitely done? Or is there a chance here?
I think he could still get second if there's some separation between the two leaders. But I think one of those guys up front is going to be good enough that,
He's checking him out.
Yeah,
The
Kipruto
23-mile
just looked over his shoulder. I would bet he's probably running for second at this point. But these guys, I mean, Evans Chibet is like in Gay's pocket right now. That is some close running.
David, we got photos from Johnny.
I think that Gay taking the lead is really allowing Chibet to regroup after those two big pushes. And if I was Gay, I would have just let Chibet keep trying to run away.
Oh, we're back. Here we go. Water bottle station for the women.
It's still
Mile
10,
19.
and they're gonna cut to a commercial.
Okay, timer starting again.
All right, so Kipchoge's out.
Kipchoge's out. But, at least we get to see Mance as well on
I
that
think
cam review. The top American cam that
And
happens to have
Fable's
Kipchoge
coming.
as well.
Fable's coming.
Fable's coming, but we're going to need Mance to slow down if that's going to become a battle.
I think Mance has top American locked up. I think
Locked
Fable
up.
is running close with some other guys, and I think top 10 is going to be sort of the question for him.
All right, and then on the women's side, 30K splits. Emma Bates and Salpeter holding it down. Pack of 10, 11 women still. We have everyone. I mean,
Bonnie
everybody.
Barisso's still in there.
All of our picks are.
Jocelyn Jepkosky, Helen O'Beary, Geber Selassie, Angela.
Yashne, don't sleep on the runner-up last year.
Oh wait,
Had
scroll
to
down a little
relive
bit.
for the last year.
So Alfine Tuliamuk is second in that in the battle for top American, but 45 seconds back. Okay, so she's on her own.
Nell
Somewhere.
Rojas, not too far off.
We got an on-course report that Emma Bates at mile 17 a little while ago, around 19-ish right now, looked incredible. Just completely smooth, fully in control.
So once you get to that point too, you're like, I'm having a day, feeling good, like that.
And it's a slower day than she prepared for. You know, their predicted finish right now is around a 2:23.12. You prepared for
Basically her personal best.
a 2:18 though. You have some flexibility, and then you can really see what you have left that last 5K, which I think this race will be coming down to.
I know. Apparently, there's a Kenyan stream also on YouTube right now,
Yeah.
and they're melting about Kipchoge.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
Hey, you've got Evans Chebet.
he's good.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Full screen of the women's race.
Salpeter up in the front right now. Emma Bates still in there as well.
Rizzo hanging out.
Lona Salpeter. Helen O'Beary, where is she? Hiding, as usual.
Well, the thing about this kind of weather, like for someone like Emma, is that you prepped in like the even worse conditions while you were out in Boulder. Like they got tons of snow, some really hot days.
I think these conditions
This
are
is
fine.
great.
It's a little wet, but
They do a lot of treadmill running, which I think is really interesting on the boss side.
All right, now we've got a good split screen going. Men's race still,
I'm hoping Kipruto can reattach.
yeah, because it'll make for a really thrilling finish. But they are way ahead of anyone else. That
Mile
is an
9
open road.
Mile 19 split for the women was a 5:25 from that previous 5:37. The men are at mile 24.
And Helen O'Beary right there.
Emma's making a push. Oh, they covered it.
Yes.
Alfine is on PR pace, as someone noted in the chat. 2:24.15 right now. I mean, anything sub 2:25 is a great thing to take away from this race leading into the fall and potentially then the trials or soon after.
I mean, think of the momentum that Emma's going to carry with her.
Everyone in the
Kyle,
chat has just put Eurosport on. They cover the women's race.
Kyle, who do you looks the best in this women's group?
I like the fact, and I know this is always Chris's pick, but I do like the fact that O'Beary has been hiding a bit and not the one pushing the pace. I think that
Dathan was
pace.
trying to tell her for the longest time.
So the very least, like that execution so far is promising. I mean,
oh, well, look at the men's side. Now we got three guys.
there he
altogether.
is.
This is what you like to see.
And Benson is not just catching up and settling. He's now
Now he's in the
pushing.
lead.
My heart rate is like elevated.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we saw this in
was gonna
Chicago.
What's everyone's heart rate at?
On my Garmin 965.
I'm 113.
My Casio doesn't do that.
This is a big
Mine
move
can't be
on
right.
the men's side.
60.
Yeah.
This is it.
My heart rate's at
Right now.
60. It's not that high.
Mine's actually 113.
I'm
Mans
resting.
at mile 24. Mans is still behind.
Whoa.
Kipchoge, and he's suffering too. He's
Oh.
now on
Here we
208
go.
Chogi
pace.
Kim.
I mean, Connor just closed that gap.
He missed it. That was it. That was the move.
No, he was gonna.
I like the replay they got there.
He fell off like a minute later. It's not like that one bottle is gonna be the difference.
Maybe mentally for him though.
I hope that he's mentally stronger than that.
The guy could run 159, but he can't do it. It's like a single
Yeah, like-
bottle.
I mean, he has a lot done for him. Maybe he's gotten a little too, that people take care of him.
A little too pampered? Is that what you're calling it?
A little bit, things get easy after a while. You have
Dana's take.
Dana's
Kipchoge's
take.
soft.
Connor
spoiled.
Mann's marathon career short-lived.
Oh man, I'm gonna get canceled one of these days.
See, the thing is, it's like he looks fine here, but the problem is there's a bunch of guys ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, my preview of Chavez and Kipruto crossing the finish line, holding hands, looking very good right now.
Yeah.
Look, he's like,
they're
come up.
talking still. They
Yeah.
are comfortable
They
enough to still be talking.
What do you want to get for
I
lunch
mean,
later?
this would be an Adidas sweep at the Boston Marathon, which is the title sponsor. Germany's going to be celebrating.
Update from my mom, or either of my favorite women.
If you're watching and you are like, I want to learn more about Kipruto and Chavez, follow their training group on Instagram, 2 Running Club.
The number 2.
The number 2 Running Club. Get to know these.
Is it just the
Just
two
them
of
two?
I
them?
think it's their whole group, but like they're the stars. At least this
How do you feel if
weekend.
you're like not the two of them and you're in that
But
group?
they have 1,500 followers on Instagram, and it's the 2 best runners at the Boston Marathon.
And the Jets. They're
Yeah.
stars.
Yeah,
They're sharing bottles still, so they're not in totally racing no mercy mode right now. They just passed.
That feels like a really late bottle station they just passed. Like,
They got a mile and a half to go. Actually, yeah, that is
right?
late
Do you really
to-
need your
to
bottle
still
at
be
mile
fueling,
25? Okay. I've never done a
but I
marathon.
guess that means
Oh,
we're
look at
we're
this.
we're gonna see something crazy.
Legs are feeling
We
good.
got 40K splits.
40K splits. Yeah. Key race alert. 40K split. Benson, Kipruto, Evans, Chavez, Gabriel Gay are up in the front right now. 1:59.14 was the 40K split.
Who are you guys taking here? What's the official?
Now I'm gonna
Pick.
go.
Official
have-
picks.
We also have 20-mile splits for the women.
I'm going Chavez.
Throw that on the screen, Mac.
So there's still
20-mile
still
splits.
11 women within 3 seconds.
Who's in the back?
At 20 miles. Tanui, I mean, they're all together, but it's Bates out in the lead and still very, very packed up with all the major favorites. As the men hit Kenmore Square, they are now under a mile to go, and it is still anybody's race, that's for sure.
I feel like I'm thinking Benson Kipruto here has a little bit more life. And just as I say that, Chavet's moving wide, taking a few steps.
And you know what Emma's performance reminds
That's the
me
move.
of right now?
That's it. That's it.
Evans.
Chavez.
This is just like Fable in was it 2018 where he took the lead? Not 2018 because that was a horrible
22.
year.
Right?
It was a couple years ago when he took the lead going up the Newton Hills and it was still pretty packed up, and that was a big moment for him and as his teammate. Emma probably has spent many hours talking to him about the race and walking through it, and so she's doing a good Scott Fable impression right now, but she's contending for the win very late in her first Boston Marathon, which is phenomenal.
People might be
Evans-
wondering like kind
This
of
is
where
Evan
these guys are
Chabet's
at.
third huge move.
I have a prediction,
This is
and
insane.
in the next year, we're going to have a lot of Evans being born. That's going to be a popular baby name.
Evans,
Evans
plural.
is-
Evans with the
Yeah.
So they're coming under
He looks
the,
amazing.
Kyle's Merber. I'm
the
changing my
bridge
name.
right now. They're about 1,200 meters from the finish as Evans Chabet opens up a gap. What you were going to see in about 30 seconds is they're going to dip under Mass Ave, that little kind of bump as they go under the road and then come back up. And then it's those 2 big turns onto Hereford and then Boylston. So there are steps left in this race. They're probably about 3 minutes from the finish line.
The course record is out the window. That 203 is
Whoa, he's got 20 seconds. Let's
205 is what they were on pace for at the last split. They should be right around 205 mid, possibly after this latest surge.
And our screen goes dark.
I want that moment of Chabet turning around and seeing Kipruto like
This is the
cross
last.
the finish line right after him, the
Hugging.
training partners.
This is the last little hill you have right here. The last hard part for
Okay,
left
it looks
on
good
Hereford,
on the hill.
right on Boylston,
Other way around.
right on Hereford, left on Boylston. I'm not wearing my Des shoes. I need to wear them.
So yeah, as Evans Chabet comes up the hill and down Comm Ave for the last time, you know, they are going to get they're a little more exposed in this last case, so that they might be feeling the headwind a little more than they have previously, but they are close to this finish, and it looks like it is the Evans Chibet show for sure.
Wow. Mac looking like an absolute genius.
Whoa, I had Evans as well.
To win? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You too.
So if
I
he
should've let you
defends
tip.
his title,
I tried at one point, but
he'll be the first back-to-back winner since Robert Chariot back in
we still got a little bit of
2008.
race.
anything can
2007.
happen here at the last minute.
Just,
If we-
just
if
double
we-
calf cramp.
Guaranteed anything is that we're going to jinx it no matter what we do.
Oh, that's a nice tight battle.
Come on, I want the training partners.
And as they make the final turn,
That
Chibet
wasn't
is
a,
on Boylston Street and can see the finish line ahead of him.
wasn't the quickest turn you've ever seen.
Gotta find something to critique. Yeah, they are about to hit 26 miles any second, and with 400 meters and change to go, it looks like it's Evans Chibet, but
Adidas can roll a commercial after this. Some humans are limited.
Oh, I'm gonna take that.
Inspiration from someone in the chat.
yeah, we're looking at an Adidas podium sweep at one of their prime events.
Hurtson to go off is just raging right now. I don't know what time zone they're in.
Big day for Walgreens, getting some good screen time.
You see that big Dick's Sporting Goods building on the other side?
I've got to retweet my Evans Chibet.
Feeling good right now.
Oh, this angle makes it look much closer.
This sprint finish for second.
Looking back,
What is the prize money difference between second and third?
I think it's 75.50.
$25,000 right there.
Evans hasn't looked back.
Maybe it's 150.25.
he looked back just once.
Checking his watch. I don't know. I don't know.
What is the watch get? He's like, my heart rate's too high.
But there's a clock in front of you.
150K for
You got a
75
text.
second,
This
43rd.
is the first time all race he's really looked like he was fighting.
What's he do? Double deuces?
Run right through. Oh,
Same pose as last year.
he's a consistent guy, if
205.53.
nothing.
That is fast.
Oh, okay, broke him up. Valencia, pretty real.
Yeah.
It's a real blaze.
Look at that. The flags.
How do we feel about how handsy all the officials are?
Yeah,
after
it's
people
like they
finish races.
Well,
it's a little much.
That's Jack Fleming, the president of the BAA. So I feel like maybe,
But I
he's
feel
the
like it's like you're
main.
being shoved and pushed around. It's like, let me
No one's
get a
coming
second.
for a while.
Yeah.
You got some
Now,
time.
Oh, that's got to hurt. Oh, it's Claudio Berardelli, the coach, just picking up his athlete.
Good dap.
All right.
All right, let's get to the women's race. Split screen. No.
Oh, we're back
Oh,
with the Kipchoge.
Kipchoge. All right, starting the clock again. The
He's gonna-
timer.
He's going to get his medal at least. He's going to be a 6-star finisher soon in New York this fall.
I think that prize.
This is for
I
what
think
place?
the appearance fee for finishing was big.
This is for
That's what I'm saying.
7th?
So we missed a couple people finish.
No. This is he 4th right now?
There's no way.
Might be.
Yeah, he may have put in a little bit of a surge at the end if he broke away for.
Yeah, I think
Fourth place.
Delay and a couple of those other guys.
So
were
where's
really hurting
Mance
in the
right now,
last couple
then?
Miles.
Mance
Mance, I
might
think,
be
is in
5th.
7th.
If he held on for fourth,
Let's see.
Kipchoge was
At 25.2. No,
5
he's in
minutes.
6th. Mance is in 8th.
oh yeah, there's.
Okay.
All
a couple
right,
guys.
time to put the women's race back on TV. Long finish line.
would have paid out 10-1 for Evans Chibet.
I think the bet I said is you throw some money down on Kipchoge to hedge, but I would have been betting.
Good showing here for Albert Career.
Our boy Albert.
4th place. Needed a nice little rebound after a disappointing 2022.
Did you just say you would have been Chibetan? Is that
Oh,
what you
I didn't. But
that's what you said.
End the stream. All right.
Great
Zuhair
run for
Talbi,
Zuhair.
Marathon debut. Going to finish in 5th place. Oh, look at these. The last people trying to outsprint. Is CJ in that group trying to outsprint
Albert
Kipchoge
Career
right
in
now?
4th.
Oh, he's in pain.
So will he still do New York?
Oh, why is he? Oh, he's moving over to the. Right. Yeah, I think he's.
The women
Yeah,
are
he still
now
does
on
New
mile
York.
21. Haven't seen them since like 19,
More
but
about now just getting the 6-star medals and doing the Paris Olympics and just that's it. Call it a career.
We're writing.
He runs one bad.
He runs one
He
mediocre.
gets 6 plays once and
Oh, who
Chavez
is it?
retires
Mance
him.
versus.
that looks like it's Fobble. Fobble coming down the
Fobble top American.
For the third time.
come on, Fobble, kick it in. Steps in front.
Wow,
Scott
Fobble.
Fobble will not be denied at Boston. I love it. Running smart pays off.
Oh, Fobble wanted to catch Kipchoge so bad there.
Finish time over screen time, baby.
This is a good battle.
Get in, Scott.
Come on, Scott, get in there.
Come on, Scott.
Oh no,
Fastest member of the group chat, guys.
Yeah.
We're
by
really,
far.
Group chat did really well.
Oh, we're not going to see
did well.
Scott finish because we see Kipchoge walking. Nice.
29:23 for Kipchoge.
Let's see. We'll get it any second now.
The
Scott Fobble, top
What
American,
a
third
consistent
time.
race. That is his 5th top 10 world marathon major finish in 11 marathons. Talk
No,
about
wow, they
consistency.
put the winning graphic.
apparently Emmett Bates is running extremely well at 30K. I'm getting reports from the course.
This could be a big day for Team Boss. Let me tell
Team
you.
Boss. Follow them on Instagram.
Mance was up on Fobble by like 20 seconds with a mile to go.
Well, it was hard
Really?
to tell because
Yeah,
he was
huge
right
blow
behind
up.
Kipchoge, but Mance was hurting as bad as anyone else in the last 10K
Scott
of that
Fobble,
race.
209.44.
Can we do a key race alert for women's
Oh,
35K?
there's CJ.
There's CJ, 210.
We've got 35K.
Hold on.
CJ Albertson just behind Connor Mance. Connor Mance 210.25. CJ 210.33.
So ultimately, one American in the top 10.
Well, Matt McDonald was 10th.
Oh, yeah, two.
Matt McDonald caught Connor Mance.
Wow.
All right.
All right, back to the women's
It's been
race.
There
4
we go.
minutes since we've seen them, but Emma Bates is leading Amane Bariso, Lona Salpeter, Helen O'Beary, and Ababel Yashana. And then we have Jolshan Jepkoskai hanging out, hiding there.
Let's go, Emma.
This pack of 8 athletes.
Do we have a Joe Bossard cam anywhere?
He's
That's the person
Going
you'd want to
nuts.
follow. How do you think he logistically manages?
gets on a bike, I think, today. Yeah, David, keep an eye out for our photo.
Yeah, this is an inside look into the CITIUS methodology as,
We're getting
as
there.
folks
Social
can
media.
see me editing graphics on the air.
Whew, I'm like really nervous for Emma.
I know. So wait, when was Dez's big move? Cleveland Circle, right? Is that where it was? Have we passed that yet,
David?
David?
Sorry, I haven't looked.
Have we passed Cleveland Circle yet?
Yeah, they are past Cleveland Circle. It looks like they are. What mile? What mile did they just hit? Oh, they just entered Brookline, so they are just past, coming up on 23. And so they have about 5K left to run, and this is the latest we've seen an American woman in the lead in Boston since Des won. This is incredible.
For those of you watching on the CITIUS MAG YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe for tons more content like this.
It's just fun to watch with 1,800 people concurrently hanging
Yeah.
out. I don't know. Cheer on Emma with some other people.
Yep.
Chat's going to keep
Hey,
going
guys,
crazier
Let's
every
get
mile.
some Emma Bates chants going in the YouTube chat.
Emma. What's Evan saying?
I am the GOAT now.
He does. He knows it well.
I'm so happy. I love it.
I wish we could like have an Evans Chevitt t-shirt made in production immediately upon finishing.
We're not there yet. Love the chat right now, just going off for Emma.
Yeah, we're very biased.
Someone timed.
American.
There was a 6-minute gap of seeing the men to the women on a split screen at one point.
All right, here we go. Emma Bates leading a
looks
pack
great.
of 6 women there. Lona Salpeter, Helen O'Beary. Who else is in that?
Barizo.
Hiwaka Bumariam, Angela Tanui.
Is Angela Tanui still in there?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we
No,
gotta
no,
look.
Tanui's
We
not.
gotta
Tanui's
look back from
back.
Emma.
She's just setting up the competition.
Salpeter,
Just get an idea.
O'Beary, Hiwat, Geber Merriman. I can't. Gebre Merriam. Monty Brisa, Ababel Yashana, Jocelyn Dipkoskai, and Nazareth Welldo. Jocelyn
Jep
Dipkoskai.
Kosgai. Starting
Girl,
to fall off
Dipkoskai.
just a hair. It's just
Team
a
Boss.
long grind out.
Team Boss is such a strong name. I know it's, obviously the last name, but it goes far.
Another 210 for Nico Montañez. That's good.
Consistent, yeah.
JP Flavin from Hanson's Brooks was 213. Back in
Keep going
17th
through the
place.
Americans, yeah.
Chad Hall.
Oh, that is a great
214.
run for JP. Flat, yeah, 213.27.
14 for Colin McCow.
I will.
Mark Career, who we saw really far up there, faded all the way back to 12.
When
Oh.
when
Really
you talk
painful
about
last stretch.
who we're picking for Paris, I will bet on the guy running consistent 209s over a flash in the
Fauble?
pan any day.
Well, so I was kind of saying this earlier. It's like a totally different race when it's only the Americans. Connor Mance is not going out as hot as he did in a championship scenario.
Emma still looks really good.
Yeah.
If you're Emma right now, you prepared for this, you've run world majors at this level. What do you think's going through her mind?
This is what she's been training for. And like Worlds was a taste of being in contention for
Yeah.
the win, and now it's like, all right, I could do this on the majors level on Boston's course.
It's got to be so validating
yeah.
right now. Like she came out and spoke a big game beforehand, and she's backing it up.
Big spill,
Oh
big
my
spill, big spill.
God.
Isha.
Or runner up
Yeshna
last
goes
year.
down. That's tough. And she was the one who was like step for step with
Did
Paris
we-
Churcher
And
last
I
year.
did.
How did
Helen
that
get-
happen?
Did Helen get? I think.
Well,
Helen
pothole,
part of it?
Boston, fix your roads. But one thing I'll say about Emma's world performance versus this is that Emma ran alone for a fair amount of her world's performance and
Yes.
in New
Yeah, he
York.
accepted for New
this is
York.
the latest that she's been with the leaders.
There's a big move right here.
Okay,
Here it is,
watch,
here it
watch,
is.
watch, watch.
Salpeter is pulling away right now.
Tripped over herself.
She was just in it.
I mean,
Attached once again.
Oh yeah.
oh, and it kind of.
And O'Beary stays
And
up.
O'Beary got pissed.
It's too late for that. But right back in it with Jocelyn
Jepkoskai
Jepkoskai.
kind of took advantage of it a little bit to surge ahead. Oh, well, the woman, she's right back. Right?
Yeah, she's
You
back.
get
Jep
a
Kosgai's
huge
falling off now.
adrenaline burst after you fall in any sort of race.
Yeah, you do
get
have to
back-
stay calm.
Helen does kind of run all over the place. Like look how
Yeah.
look how
Helen's
look how much she moves. Left
throwing
and
her
right.
elbows. I love it. I just love it.
Big elbow guy. Up.
Wow, they're just so close together.
This is
You got the whole road.
my favorite way to end a race like this. Everyone in it.
All right.
Where's the Joe Boss cam?
Emma looks so composed. Like this is I expected her to be contending for top 10, but this is such an impressive performance. To not just be
O'Beary's
in
looking
fifth, but to be mixing
over
it
a
up.
couple times here. Look at Helen throwing elbows.
Kyle, who was your women's pick to win?
I had Bariso.
All right. All of our picks are still in.
Al Peter is just
Dang,
doing her thing.
is that Jep Koskai getting dropped out the back?
Yeah.
Dang, I was
Unfortunately.
almost 3 for 4.
Mac, who was your pick?
Jepkowski.
Emma's just kind of like not taking any precautions being with the rest of the pack. Like she's just
Smart.
really smart.
Want to pull your shot.
Yeah.
Someone goes in the chat, Emma's moving out wide in case there's carnage.
How hard does the Helen Obiri elbow to the chest hurt right
Yeah.
now? Like that's what I'm so concerned about these other women behind.
She's been in the gym, you know? They lift hard that on.
Yeah, they do. They're in the gym constantly.
I saw that hilarious video of them doing some interesting exercises they put up.
Salpeter's won Tokyo.
Yeah.
She went Tokyo way back in 2020. Third bronze medal at Worlds. Second in New York.
Besides that, none of these women have ever won a world marathon major in this top 5.
To think that we are like 10 minutes away from the end of this race and there's still 5 women together is thrilling.
So if you're Emma, are we just holding on right now? Do you think she's waiting to make a move? Like, how do you think she wins this race?
I think what she's doing right now is doing everything in her power to stay connected to this pack, which it looks like she's not right now.
Yeah, there's
like
a few
she just
steps
has to
there.
stay connected. Sometimes, you know, you take those 3 hard steps, those 4 hard steps just to be in the pack because she knows.
We're losing her.
We spoke too soon.
Helen, it's Helen's fault.
Helen's looking back a couple times now.
Wow.
So at the 23-mile mark,
Bobble
split 205.
moved from 11th to 7th in the last mile of the race.
So smart.
He wishes it was 27.2.
All right, now it looks like Emma's dropping off a little bit.
All right, Emma's dropping off, but I don't think she's done.
Salpeter 210 split at 24 miles. Okay, she's still in it.
That mile 24 was a 5:06. So it's, you know, but they've really been going 5:37, 5:08, 5:17, 5:06. Like this is a hard way to run.
Barizo looks good.
All the heavy hitters.
Look how left to right Obiri travels. It's
She's running 26.3 miles.
yeah.
At least. Emma's still in it.
Yep, she's still in it. And Yoshina really did rebound well from that fall.
Not even a little knee scrape or nothing.
Salpeter kept the headband on the whole time.
There's still time.
Helen is scary.
You wouldn't want to race her?
No.
When did Helen actually decide to run the Boston Marathon?
Right after New York.
Right
Day-
after New York.
Right after New York.
Wasn't announced for a while.
It was 2-3 days. I got the text, and then they were just like, the announcement's coming the following Monday.
After New York half, yeah.
After New York half.
Okay.
I mean, New York half was a cold race. It
dominated
it. A lot of people did end up having good days.
Emma doesn't really run many tune-up races, huh?
Her last race was New York. I looked this up because I was very intrigued of she's done fall, spring, fall, spring, fall, spring.
She doesn't really do anything in between.
Nothing in between, but a lot of really big long run
Okay,
workouts.
she's falling off a little bit. Still strong.
If she stays in 5th, she gets this Olympic qualifier.
That's
so
right.
Really,
Oh.
she's got to just worry about Jepkowski more than anything else.
Estimated finish is about a 2:21, so no course record.
Hey, that'd be a personal best for Emma.
Try and tweet at the same time.
Pack
feel
of
like-
4.
They're flying right now.
They all want to run faster.
I think this split might be a sub 5-minute split. This next one coming up for mile 25.
Barizo looks good. Helen,
Wait, okay. The men's mile 25 split was a 4:56. Let's see what the women's is.
They're gonna go faster for sure.
Wait, no, sorry. That was the women's. No, that was the men's 4:56 mile 25 split. Women's Not yet.
Wow.
This is wild.
I love the Boston Marathon. I think the New York City Marathon's better, though.
Oh, man. It'd be pretty sweet if Yashine wins after the fall.
falling.
That'd be pretty sweet if
It
Salpeter
will make
won.
for like such a viral TikTok. It's like never give up on yourself.
Chris, look at yourself
when
in the
you
mirror
when you
after that
when
sentence,
you
saying that
fall
sentence.
8 times, you get back up and win on the 9th.
They also make for like a cool life performance
Yeah.
and experience, but a viral
It's the
TikTok
new
is what really-
No, here's the thing, on
Heather
TikTok-
Dornan or Heather Conf video from like the.
You could post that Heather Conf video on TikTok right now and go viral, and people are like, "Who is that? What is that?"
Aside from that, it was filmed on a potato. Like people would think it was like last week.
We should have Dathan mic'd up right now.
Well, Mac was with him during New York, and it's sort of like everyone's just sort of like on the edge of their seat. People aren't really saying a whole lot. Joe is the one. Joe's definitely the one.
Is that the 40K split?
Key race alert? Key race alert.
Key race alert. There's a mile left in the Boston Marathon.
40K split was 2:14 for Ababel Yeshene, and so that means poor Amane Bariso's not PRing today.
This bottle kills me. The mile 25 bottle.
1 mile to go. Time for an lollipop.
That's what they say.
All right, the women ran at 5:14.
Okay.
So a little slower than their mile 24. I wanted them to be at the same time. Was not.
1,500 people watching with us on YouTube right now. Be sure to subscribe to the CITIUS MAG YouTube channel. We'll bring you content like this year round.
Every time there's a Boston Marathon, we will bring you this sort of content.
From somewhere. The Brooks Hyperion House.
Somewhere on Newberry Street. All right, final picks. Final picks
Final
right now.
picks. I'm
Go
sticking
around.
with my guns. I'm going Helen.
You're going Helen, Dana, looking at everyone.
Salpeter, we gotta go.
David, anyone?
I'm a not a believer in like track speed mattering that much in the marathon, but if they turn onto Boylston Street and Helen goes to the arms, I'm all on that
over.
Obiri train, baby.
I'm sticking with Barizo.
Play my soundbite from
Look at
New
this
York City.
turn.
Oh, come on, Lona.
Bariso, I will say, not a one-hit wonder.
No,
No.
Valencia,
Finishing
real
third or fourth in
place.
this race.
Valencia is a real place.
Oh, Salpeter's getting dropped a little bit.
Wow.
Here's the Helen Obiri kick.
Okay, now I want Emma to get Salpeter, though.
Salpeter getting dropped is great for Emma to have a target coming back to her.
This is gonna be
Salpeter doesn't
insane.
do well
My
when there's
heart
an
rate is-
American on her heels.
Helen is going hard.
My heart is 94.
She's not used to having Joe Klecker not setting the pace right in front of her, so it's a little different.
Yeah, I wish we could have a
Klecker
camera
miles.
live in Boulder right now that we could cut to.
So there's Klecker miles and there's Obiri miles.
Rebrand it.
Come on, Emma.
Emma trying to
Dashne
pull Molly Seidel right now
falling
and catch
off.
Salpeter.
It's Obiri.
Oh, Bariso. Bariso's not letting her get away.
Obiri versus Barizo.
And
Chris
Obiri
versus
is
Kyle.
just looking her straight in the face.
Obiri's hurting.
She always looks like this.
Yeah, once the blades come out, that's when we'll know.
My hands are
But-
sweating.
I mean, Bariso does not have a much of a track credential to speak of, but if she wins this thing, taking down Latessa Megide and Helen Obiri in your last two marathons, like
2:15 at mile 25. What do you think the final mile split's going to be?
it's never that fast because there's a dip and there's turns and stuff. Like it won't be anything
Faster
crazy.
than my mile PR though. 5:09.
It'll
Oh,
be faster
Obiri's
than
got a
the
couple
last
steps.
two.
Obiri's got steps.
And
This still
again,
feels
this
a
is-
little early to make the move.
Yeah, they've got a K to go. Like this is where
Okay, here we go.
going the course really does.
I really-
pay off.
The not defending, but a one-time world cross country champion.
I was sitting at the press conference, and when they brought up like the notable athletes for the pro race, and like Helen was just sitting in the back of the room waiting for like the breakouts, and I was like, "You guys really didn't decide to bring up like the most decorated woman in the field?" Disrespect.
The disrespect.
Look at
And
this.
again,
On plastered so many posters around New York City. It's like you may not know who Helen Obiri is, but
Now,
you will.
but you will.
I think now's the time.
second marathon, like marathon is something you got to figure out, and like getting sixth place, like to me, like I know we were all kind of disappointed because we almost thought of her as one of the favorites, but like getting sixth place in your debut in New York, and figuring out your fluids, figuring out your fueling. Now that she's clearly learned a little and put the pieces together, this could be the start of a a long streak of Helen Obiri marathon victories.
This is just awesome.
I wonder who the men's
God, I
finisher
love her
she's going
so
to be
much.
coming up to.
Wow, I got chills.
Speaking of Twitter records, I've been on the Helen Obiri train for like
The longest
the
time.
last decade, so
Yeah.
I got the receipts on that one.
It's true.
Come on, Lona.
Wow.
Wow.
Unless you
And Emma Bates just really,
I
this
don't
is
wanna
an
say- I don't wanna
incredible
say it.
finish for
Don't
her.
cramp up here.
Phenomenal performance from her.
We said this a few weeks ago, and it's
Not
like
a
Helen
right, a
Obiri
left.
has been added to the field. Everyone in
Watch
the field was
out.
probably like, "That's not fair."
I mean, it's just incredible.
Oh, okay. Wow. So
Is that Nico Montañez?
No, he finished. He finished.
Oh, that's
wow.
Helen
This race
Obiri,
is just
Amane
dramatics are amazing.
Barizo.
Yoshana looks like she's hurting now in fourth.
All right.
but
So well,
Can Emma Bates get anyone in this last stretch?
I think she's a little too far back. It's hard to tell with a straight on, but
this is it. This
she's
is that
probably
form.
50
That
meters
400
back.
meter sprinter form.
There are no more arms she can possibly go to right
There's no
now.
more, but she looks incredible. So strong.
yeah, she hasn't quite. I feel like she hasn't quite opened up like all the way yet. Like Bariso is moving too. Like look at her.
Bariso
cadence,
is
like,
not quitting.
Obiri.
I wish I had better
hopefully-
perspective of where the finish is right this
They
second.
just passed 20. This is like the finish line. That's the
Starbucks.
memorial, and she's got probably 100 meters to go.
Where's the sweet green?
Less.
She's like, I heard there's Olipop at the Sweet Green. Must get there now.
Is that how you're gonna call?
Oh my
it?
God! Watch out! Watch out!
Move! Oh, gosh.
Oh my God! That guy. What is he?
He's trying to get her to finish on
Oh,
the other
Because the
side.
winners finish on one side and then everyone else has to finish on the other side. That's a little unfair.
That's
They
so
did it-
You
weird.
cut her off.
Well, what if
Oh,
you?
Man. What a
I
performance!
think the other TV's.
Wow, there
Helen
it is.
Obiri.
Helen Obiri in her second
2:21,
marathon
37.
is your Boston Marathon champion. Wow. In front of
Oh.
her husband and her daughter, who she was away from in the buildup for the New York City Marathon. This time around, got the whole family in town in time for the New York City half. They're here now. Late entry to the race.
And wow,
4 women under 222. Emma Bates, 5th.
Emma Bates
gets
pumped.
that Olympic standard. New personal best.
There's Dathan.
Yeah, our previous personal best was 2:23.18 from Worlds.
Great run for Emma. But look at Helen.
Helen is
That's
overcome
the
with
moment you dream
emotion.
of your entire life.
She's so happy.
so Emma Bates already had the qualifier on time, I think, but she gets that Olympic qualifier for Paris, 2:22.10. That's a new personal best, and that moves her up from 11th to just cracking the top 10. She leapfrogs Des and is now 10th all time on the U.S. women's marathon list when considering
all the courses.
all the courses.
David, dare I say, biggest win of Helen Obiri's career?
Yeah, I mean she's a multi-time track world champion.
no
and has
Olympics.
won world cross.
no Olympics.
but
2 Olympic silvers.
yeah, I mean it
World
depends on what
cross.
you care
I'm gonna-
about. You know, I would
You think
bet-
this is her biggest one?
What do you think?
I
I mean,
think
it depends
so.
how you weight the Olympics versus the marathon majors.
She has no Olympic wins.
Yeah,
True.
she has Olympic silver. She's got world cross champ. She's got
I think this is the biggest one by far.
Boston.
Boston has to be.
Boston
you
over
know, it's up
Trump's
there with a world
worlds.
gold medal for sure.
Yeah.
It puts you into a different category. And I'm so excited to see her back here next year because the defending champion always comes
We
back.
should also point out, that's that's pretty rare. It's not a common phenomenon that someone is so accomplished at a track 5K, 1500. She's run sub 4 in the 1500 to come out in the marathon too. Like she's shown range that very few other runners in history have.
Man,
Pretty good.
thrilling. All right, biggest winners of the day.
Biggest
Obviously
winner.
the winner.
Max Fleet.
Biggest winners of the day: Evans, Chebet, Helen Obiri, obviously.
Obviously.
Emma Bates, big winner of the day. Scott Fauble, big winner of the day.
Fans, big winners.
Fans. Jake
sport.
Tuber for catching the water bottle.
Yep.
Who else?
Kipchoge. And we've never seen that from him before. What does he do next?
Yeah, it is really an interesting of where do you go
Apparently
from here.
We had intern Austin out on the course or by the finish line. Kipchoge just kind of bolted right to the hotel. So we're gonna get redemption. Kipchoge in New York, possibly.
You think?
I think so.
I think we're going back to Berlin, London. We're done with this.
He has 5 stars.
One thing to flag, Connor Mance again, rough last 10K, but in
He's
two
not gonna
marathons,
have to do that in at the trials.
But in
That's
two
the thing.
marathons,
Yeah.
he's now run 208 and 210, 11th place finish in a world marathon major. He's shown that he is a contender and not just on the U.S. level, on the international level as well. And for a guy as young as he is, who's only run 2 marathons, that's a really good place to be going into the meat of your marathoning career.
I appreciate what it says about his mentality. Like he doesn't want to just be the top American. He wants to go in and contend for podiums. Connor's still new to
I
the marathon.
respect
He's going to figure
Connor's
it out.
move.
He's going to figure this out.
That's what Connor gained today was absolutely experience of putting himself in it, running next to the absolute best in the world. How old is he? 25, 26?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to run through a couple more results that are coming in on the women's side.
Yeah, what do we got?
Emma Bates was top American 222, but then a little further back, Alfine Tullimuck 224. Is that a PR?
That is a 2.5 minute PR.
11th. So only
Amazing.
one woman from the U.S. in the top 10.
Nell Rojas 224.51. Also, I'm
I
assuming
think
a
personal
PR.
best. Yep.
Ninka Brinkman, who's right behind her from the NN
She's
running
run
team.
222.
Sarah Hall 225 off of a shortened build-up.
Okay.
Like another good sign of things to come, I guess, leading up to the summer racing season.
Did the Boston Marathon live up to the hype?
Oh yes.
Oh, for sure.
I think this is personally the best one that I can remember in so many
Really?
years.
Yeah.
Just the action, the favorite not winning, the women's race having so many people to the end of it. What more can you ask for? I think an American being in the
An
top
American
3.
winning is always the most special thing you can ask for. But outside of that, I do just think this is probably a big surprise to a lot of people that Kipchoge didn't win, but it shouldn't be. Like Evans Chebet is now proven time and time again that he runs really well on the Boston course, on the New York course. Now it's almost like the reverse, where I'm interested to see Chebet run the quicker
Go for the
marathons
record.
out
Go
there.
run 201.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah.
I mean, one thing I think, as Dana said, like the Kipchoge factor really overshadowed just how incredible this women's field was, and the race did not. We
The
saw
factor and his dedicated screen.
Yeah, but some of the best women's marathoners of all time, all slugging it out in the last 2 miles of that race. Like that's just talk about good for the sport. Like that is so fun to see play out.
Head to head, we don't see it enough. Everyone dodges each other, especially when it comes. There's a lot of major marathons to choose from. There's a lot of incentives to go to all these. And we have to give credit to the Boston Marathon organizers for getting the world's best here on the same day to compete.
I will
Des
say,
Linden just finished 227, 18th place. Solid.
I think a few weeks ago, I'd given my early picks for the trials.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
I would
right.
like to correct that. I think I believe I left Emma Bates off, and that was wrong. of me.
So Emma Bates,
I think Emma
Alfine.
makes it. She's too consistent.
Yeah,
at
do you
this
want to do
point.
this like the way too early?
Way too
Way
early.
too early.
U.S. Olympic trials predictions? Because then, like on the men's side, it is sort of.
I had
You go-
Footsum and after his 209 in Rotterdam.
You feel okay about that?
I feel okay. I mean, a nice progression.
Like for me, it'll be. I'm thinking something like Fable Mance, and then the third one is a little bit up in the air. You're kind of waiting for Shadrach Kipchirchir to really nail it. He had a rough one out there today.
Or yesterday. Shadrach went out in 205 pace, faded to 219.
Yeah. And then women's side, you know, there's a couple question marks around some of the people who have like come up with injuries at this point in the season, but it's like still early enough where like that's okay. Like you have enough time to recover. I'm talking about Kira D'Amato and Emily Sisson.
We're both supposed to go London.
To London. They both withdrew from it. Molly Seidel hasn't run a decided not to run a spring marathon. Is also still kind of on the comeback.
Nell Rojas placing 14th today.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, I think that there is a little bit of a separation here where
Two
it's sort
locks.
of like Emily Sisson is going to do her thing and she's like the American record holder, and like the course in Orlando is supposed to be flat and fast, and like if she does what she did at the Olympic trials on the track, then that's going to be fairly aggressive on everyone else. And then I think like today Emma Dates proved that she can go with a race like that, and I still think that Alfian had a really good day.
Yeah.
So that's my like sort of like top three, but then I want to see what Kira D'Amato can do, in the summer and the fall to really re-enter that conversation, even though like she is part of it.
Yeah. I just, after watching today, have a hard time believing that there are 3 American women that can beat Emma Bates on most days.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting from where we were 4 years ago, because she was still sort of like on the up and up with the marathoning career, but she's just nailed it ever since.
Hasn't missed.
Yeah.
Consistency, fall, spring. Maybe you don't need to race as much in between. There's a lot of different ways to approach this.
The lowest she's ever finished in a marathon is 8th place.
And that was like, what, her first or second
And that
one?
was Worlds.
Yeah.
A world-class marathoner, and she proved it here today.
Sorry, that was New York. Don't correct me in the chat.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very impressed. She called her shot. She says she's in 218 shape. That 5th place, I think now it's Joe Bosshard reading everything he possibly can to what do I have to do to get her last mile and a half to stick to get a medal.
A few more 120-plus mile weeks.
Yep.
Another spring, another fall. She'll be there. All right. Well, if any of our friends here in Boston who have finished already, the 20 of you who have already finished, make sure to come by the Brooks Hyperion House on 137 Newberry Street.
Get yourself a finisher scarf.
Get a finishing scarf. And if you are one of the 25 first finishers to come by and mention the free shoes,
you will get a
we
free
have
pair
some
of shoes.
free pairs of Brooks shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, we tweet that out. Yeah.
Then we've got, These
And we
scarves
got
are
some
awesome.
CITIUS MAG women's t-shirts. If anyone else wants to come through, pick them up.
But yeah, other than that, it's
fun.
been a lot of fun. It's always good to watch marathons with friends. So
All
to
of you
everyone
guys
who's
are
out there
friends.
watching, be sure to subscribe to the CITIUS MAG YouTube channel. Crack open an Olipop and join us next time.
Subscribe
Thanks
to
so
the
much
lap count.
to Brooks
Thanks to
this
Brooks for
weekend.
having us out here. We'll be back again next year here at the Brooks Hyperion House. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next time.